WFUV.org.
Well, good morning, New York, or good night if you're listening to this on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. My name is Max Langer. I'm joined by David Topi and Dennis Valilatos here in the Rose Hill Studios for this edition of One-on-One. Joe Henry is our producer. Sam Giangrande supplying the graphics. Guys, it is great to be here. It is one of the best times on the sports calendar of the year, in my opinion, here in the end of April, getting into May. One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. We are here. We're live on YouTube, live and on replay, and, of course, 90.7 FM if you're listening from 11 to 2. But first, how are you guys doing on this fine afternoon?
I'm doing great.
Chilling, man.
I mean, yeah, like you said, we're in a great point in sports. We're in the NBA playoffs, NFL draft going on. Thursday we had day one, round one. Then the next day we had rounds 2 and 3, and now today, obviously, if you're listening live on YouTube, we're here now right before the draft's actually going to start, and if you're listening later, the draft will be over. But there's some exciting stuff with that, and it's been fun to be able to look at prospects and like really get into that while also sadly watching my Knicks do what they've been doing for the past week.
Yeah, man, everything's going good. I mean, it's a good, like you said, a good time for sports right now. You know, the NBA playoffs are in full swing. I feel like, with the NFL draft coming up, I feel like post-Super Bowl, you kind of mentioned this, like, couple-week depression. I feel like things aren't moving slow.
Yeah.
You got the Masters, you can kind of cheer for, things like that, but we're still in regular season for the NBA.
Hey,
but
Masters was great.
Masters was great. That did get me through.
Happy with
that got me through.
Dude, I'm a big Rory McIlroy guy. Watching him go back-to-back made me just – I was elated.
It got me to this point. The Masters got me to this point where I'm content now.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into all of it here. Going to touch on the NBA playoffs. How about that slate last night, huh? Celtics and the Sixers. That was a great game. That's a 2-1 series lead for Joe Henry's Celtics. And, that doesn't really feel like a 2-7 series to me. I think the Sixers are a lot better than the record is. Boston, of course, they've missed Tatum for a lot of the year. They've had some pieces injured. So that's definitely a good series. Winner of that will most likely go to the Eastern Conference Finals, in my opinion, maybe take on the Detroit, who, despite losing Game 1 to Orlando, has bounced back. Game 3 of that actually at 1 o'clock Eastern today. We'll keep you updated in the last hour of that one. How about the Lakers and the Rockets, though, last night? I think many talking heads, pundits, everyone says, Rockets in 5, Rockets sweep. But don't count out LeBron James. Don't count out the king, huh? Comes back. Lakers take a 3-0 series lead. That was an incredible game. I actually saw a stat last night that in NBA history in the finals, in the regular season and the playoffs, when teams are up 6 with less than 30 seconds to go, they are 1,719-1. And the second loss ever was just recorded last night. The Rockets blowing a 101-95 lead with 25 seconds to go in that fourth quarter. Lakers come back, force OT, and they win it. And that kind of feels like a devastating blow to the Rockets' playoff chances right there.
LeBron, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things of, like, it's crazy how often you look at basketball and you just see these games that, like, people build up leads and they just turn into, like, these really close matchups. It's been happening for a couple of years now. I mean, taking it from a Knicks fan perspective, I've been watching these series against the Sixers and the Pacers, and while maybe they haven't always gone the Knicks' way, especially those Pacers series, I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and it's like, what's going on is crazy, and it's making for really fun basketball. I mean, you look back a couple years ago when DiVincenzo was still on the team, and you have that game. It's electric. They're in MSG. Hardenstein gets the rebound, kicks it out to DiVincenzo, misses the three, goes to Maxey, who then gets it stripped from Hart, who then kicks it back out to DiVincenzo, who makes the shot, and then as Mike Breen, Fordham alum, said, bang, bang.
That's right.
DiVincenzo, he basically made the three to seal up that game and really, like, there's just been amazing basketball in the past couple of years.
So
and
many good moments.
Like, this Lakers game, like, really shows that, like, teams are never really out of it until that final buzzer is going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just LeBron is still in full swing. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. At 41, hitting that dagger last night like that, like, that's impressive stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, What else can you say, man? I mean, he might. I'm not going to say, hey, knock on wood. Obviously, I'm a Celtics fan, so hopefully not. But he might actually do this again. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I mean, 3-0.
If we see Luka coming back and Reeves is able to come back,
We're gonna have some
even
serious
if you get
problems.
like 70% of Luka,
Yeah.
that's some playmaking
big
that they
difference.
probably still could really use, because LeBron's been able to play kind of that point forward position a bit, but like you bring back Luka into that mix and you bring Reeves into that mix, and like Kennard's been great and stuff, but like you really can start to build a very scary team that can compete with the Thunder in the West.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everybody, including me, even as a Lakers fan, had him dead in the water 3 weeks ago when Reeves and Doncic go out in that April 2nd game against the Thunder. And, I mean, here they are right back. And regardless of what happens the rest of the way, I think, if 3 weeks ago you told me they'd be up 3-0 in the first round of the playoffs, you'd sign up for it no matter what, even with the with Oklahoma City looming. So we'll get to that. Also, day 3 of the NFL draft. We'll touch on what happened the first 2 days, our thoughts on the picks in the first and second round. Third days, we'll talk about a notable absence. Mike Vrabel is not going to be present in the Patriots draft room. There has been a story going on. We will talk about the Vrabel-Rossini story. I feel like, it'd be unfaithful to our listeners, whether live or replay on YouTube or live on 90.7, to not talk about that. It is one of the, top 3 stories in the sports world right now. So we will get to it. We will approach it in a cautious way. Not going to get into the hypotheticals about what might happen, what could happen, but we will talk about what it means for the Patriots and the NFL at large. Major League Baseball also into full swing. How about the Yankees sweeping the Red Sox in Boston, coming back? And
Hey, I'm a Mets fan. I can't be happy about anything right now.
You know, you can be happy, but I guess, that was just brutal. Red Sox.
Well, we'll get to the
Not
Mets.
the year.
We will get to the Mets, who,
Yeah,
if my mental calculations right now are right, have lost 13 of 14. I think
so.
Francisco
I think so.
Lindor
Those
is
numbers are correct.
Yeah, they lost 12 in a row, and then they finally broke the streak and then lost again.
Finally,
right.
so-
And
So-
today's game is pushed back to Sunday. That'll be a doubleheader, and it's very difficult to win both games of a doubleheader. So, very possible that the Mets, who they could lose a series to the Rockies. And the age-old saying in baseball is you can't win a division in April, but you sure can lose it. And the Mets have most certainly put themselves behind the 8 ball here on
They're
April
in a tough spot.
25th.
Tough spot.
We'll also talk about the Knicks, who, not doing a great job representing Mike Brown in the playoffs so far. Down 2-1 to the Atlanta Hawks. C.J. McCollum is the new Trae Young, apparently. Great
haunted.
game down there in Atlanta in Game 3, and we will talk about a Knicks 2-1 series deficit. Game 4 is tonight. That is feels like as close to a must-win as you can get for New York. We'll talk about a little Fordham sports, Fordham basketball. As Thin Lizzy says, the boys are back in town. Rika Schulte, Akira Jacobs, Abbas Bodija, everybody, all of the Mike Magpio era transfers have come back to Fordham for at least a year or two, so that's big, especially with a lot of A-10 players transferring out. This could be a year for Fordham to make a jump. We'll talk some more general MLB. And we'll end the show with a special game from our video producer, Sam Giangrande, some sports trivia. How's your sports trivia knowledge, guys?
It's gonna be a struggle for
Yeah,
sure.
we'll see how it goes.
We're gonna reach back in the past. We're gonna.
Yeah.
I can make it work.
Yeah,
I think I know enough about everything where I'm gonna get 2 out of 14. I think we'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like my shooting percentage in the WFUV sports basketball game the other
Kind
night.
of like the Mets.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna have a Met record here. Yeah.
Kind of like the Mets. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. If you're listening at home, you can play along with us. Keep track of your score. Definitely a big slate to talk about today, guys. NBA playoffs, we talked about it. Another big games today coming up. We've got Pistons Magic. We mentioned it at 1. Thunder Suns. The Thunder, even with the Jalen Williams injury, they're just blowing past the competition. I know it's so hard to do it, but you can almost pencil them into the Western Conference Finals, NBA Finals. I never want to count out LeBron, and I made the mistake of picking the Rockets before this series, but the Thunder, they just feel so dominant,
strong.
right?
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
they're beating
strong.
teams by 25, 30 points. And, the one knock on them is that, one of their best players in Jalen Williams has been injured, is going to be reevaluated in a week from the injury or whatever. But it just kind of feels like for them, they've got to be the heavy favorite to come out of the
They're heavy
West.
favorite. They're cruising to the end.
Yeah.
They're cruising to the end. They're having really, really, really strong postseason so far. Yeah, man, they're back.
Yeah,
nothing's changed.
They kind of feel to me like that Celtics team from a couple years ago that won the championship, where it's just like you looked at their starting five and it was incredible. You had Drew Holiday, you had Derek White, you had Jaylen Brown, you had Tatum, you had Kristaps, and then fine, they lose some of those pieces, but like that team was scary.
They needed to have a really bad game.
They needed to have a really
situation
bad
where
game.
you could win.
Yeah, because just even that bench was incredible.
Yeah. Heavy hitters, man.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun show throughout the Western Conference the rest of the way. Eastern Conference, those playoffs are pretty close. We've got, mentioned it a couple times, Pistons Magic. That Celtics-Sixers game last night was very good. VJ Edgecombe, he's a great player. And, Jason Tatum.
He's back.
Yeah. Did you see that reporter who asked Jason Tatum, who was like, you've won a lot of playoff games, but you've also lost a lot of playoff games. And he was like, I've lost a lot of playoff games. And the reporter was like, doubled down. He was like, yeah, you've lost a lot of playoff games. You played a lot, and he wins one last night.
He's on that Kobe mentality still. I think he's back. Honestly, I was shocked.
Still sending him texts?
I think he's still sending him texts. I'm being dead serious too. I think like literally, the way he's been. I mean, listen, I was a little bit nervous those couple games where he had just come back and he was missing these layups and he just didn't seem as explosive. But hey, I mean, time heals.
I was kind of expecting a Team USA Jason Tatum to come out.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a while till that comes back, I think. But hey, I mean,
well,
great dagger last night. I mean, hey, he's back. I think he's back. And hey, I mean, if Brown can keep it up as well, they're looking pretty good.
He really does feel like a very competent number one option, Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
And if they can't pay both of them, I really think he's going to reshape a franchise somewhere. Just because, like, at some point, I'm assuming both of them won't be there. And just both of them are such incredible players. And Jaylen Brown kind of pulling this team to the playoffs to then be able to bring Tatum back in this past month and, like, kind of show why they were dominant a couple years ago when they were in the finals. Like, you look at last year and find the Knicks had quite a lead in that series. And, like, it was pretty, not set in stone, but you could say it was, like, pretty close to being set in stone that the Knicks were going to win that series against Boston last year. But at the same time, when you have Tatum and Brown on the floor at the same time, anything is possible with that team.
I always say this. I always say, to me, Jaylen Brown's the most consistent player in the NBA.
Yeah.
I think genuinely having a star power with Tatum at your side, I mean, it's just incredible that he can just make space. I mean, he's the one constant, I think. If it were up to me, if one of them had to go, it's going to have to be Tatum. Brown's just too consistent. He's put the team on his back over and over again. I always tell my dad, I'm like, hey, if we really have a game where it's last second, last shot, like, I'm giving it to Brown, man. He's too consistent. I feel like Tatum's just he's such a talent, and he'll take over the game at any moment, but you don't know when that's going to come. Brown, you know what you're going to get every night. And that's what makes Boston so special is, like, these two hand in hand, like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you do with that? When you have a guy who's consistent every night, you know what you're going to get out of him, but then you have Tatum who can go off for 50.
Brown.
And you don't even know when it's coming.
Brown's certainly an MVP candidate. Definitely led the Celtics to the second seed. All right, we're going to take a break. On the other side, we will get to that game last night. We'll also get to the Lakers and the Rockets, one of the best playoff games. This is One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. We're live on YouTube and 90.7 FM.
Hi, I'm Ashley Went, one of your hosts for FUVFC, WFUV's best, if not only, podcast for all things soccer. From insight from beat reporters for all of New York's soccer clubs to breakdowns of all the major leagues and events from the international pitch to right here in the States. Tune in weekly as we discuss all things soccer on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week on FUVFC, a product of WFUV.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham Athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
Welcome back to New York's longest-running sports call-in show, One-on-One. Once again, Max Langer, David Topi, Dennis Valilatos here with you for this Saturday's edition. Let's get into those games last night, guys, and I do want to start with the Lakers and the Rockets. That game, Game 3 of a best-of-7 series between Los Angeles and Houston. Series shifted to Houston, and yeah, I just got to say, as a Lakers fan, this year I really got to appreciate watching Marcus Smart on a day-to-day basis. And I know, David, you're a Celtics guy.
I love Marcus Smart, man.
Joe Henry, our producer, is a Celtics guy.
Oh,
I mean, he is a brilliant player. And the energy that's been made about his energy and what he does battling every possession has been well known throughout his career. But I think his internal basketball clock, his ability to read the floor, to make the right play. You talk about last game, he probably burned about like a minute off the clock just letting the ball roll up the floor. He is a terrific basketball mind, and a lot's going to be made of what LeBron did last night, and deservedly so. There's a Nick Wright tweet that I'm seeing right now. It says, hitting the playoff game-tying three to force overtime in the same game you threw an alley-oop to your little son is more impressive in and of itself than 6 rings. Now, we can debate that all day, but the fact remains that what LeBron did last night, incredibly impressive. But Marcus Smart, just got to give a shout-out to him, man. What a player, and what a job he did last night, getting the Lakers a 3-0 series advantage.
Yes, we still miss you in Boston. I just want to make that very clear.
I don't know if I agree with that Nick Wright tweet, really. I think you still have Jordan as a clear number 1, and then LeBron is at your 2.
Jordan's the go.
It's one of those things of like, Jordan went... Like, Jordan is just, it's Jordan.
We have this debate so many times.
So
let's have it again. Let's have it again,
Michael
honestly.
Jordan
everybody loves
GOAT.
talking Jordan LeBron, so let's do it. I just, for me, what LeBron has done, longevity, year 23, he has the two of the three, in my opinion, hardest rings in NBA history. That's 2020 in the bubble and a 3-run comeback against the Warriors.
Disagree.
The other one I've got there.
The bubble's the hardest ring in NBA history.
It's one of them.
Man.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
No, it was a shortened season.
By about 3 games.
Didn't have to travel. Didn't have
Didn't
to
have
go
to
nowhere.
yes.
I guess
Nobody else
did. Family,
did
yeah,
either.
but
Nobody
didn't
else
see your family, and LeBron didn't even call him. He turns off his phone when the playoffs start. So to be isolated from your family entirely, to go down to a resort where you've got a blow up,
resort.
Disney World. We got
he
blow
went
up.
to a resort.
Mickey Mouse is running around, and to go win that ring, I think is something that's unparalleled in the history
Michael
of the NBA.
Jordan took an
three-peated
18-month hiatus to play baseball.
Exactly.
He was hitting home runs over in.
No, he wasn't. He was terrible at baseball, actually. He hit like below the Mendoza line and
He was
quit
playing. He was
when
playing.
he realized he wasn't any good and went back to basketball.
Yeah.
Say what you want about his baseball ability. To be able to literally, you're at the top of your game. You put down the sport. You go to baseball. I mean, people overshadow the fact that this man won a three-peat, took an 18-month hiatus, dropped basketball completely, changed his entire body, came back and won another three-peat.
Yeah.
That in itself, I mean, this stuff happened 35 years ago, and it's like it happened yesterday. People still talk about this every day. So
yeah, and if we're going to sit there and talk about help, every single ring nowadays has help. Shea doesn't win that ring last year without J-Dub, just like how Jordan had Pippen and Tatum and Brown. Like, even LeBron's rings, he had people with him.
I think people undermine the fact that they say he was all alone. Exactly.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying nobody has done more with less than LeBron James has in their career. I mean, just look at 2018. The Cavs had a roster that was filled with former All-Stars like Dwayne Wade and Isaiah Thomas, who they got in the Kyrie Irving trade. They get to the trade deadline, and they blow it up because it's not working. Dwayne Wade gone. Isaiah Thomas gone. The second best player on that team, other than a fairly healthy Kevin Love, ended up being like Jeff Green, who, by the way, played against the Lakers last night. Crazy that LeBron and Jeff Green are still both in the NBA in 2026, but he took that team to the finals. He dragged them past the Celtics. That series against the Celtics, 2018 Eastern Conference Finals, in my opinion, is LeBron's most impressive series. To come back from down 3-2 to win it in Cleveland in Game 6, and then in a non-air-conditioned TD Garden in Game 7 to put up what he did to beat that
no AC is
entire
impressive.
Celtics
I'll give him
team,
that.
to beat that entire team, to have Al Horford literally gripping onto his shoulders to prevent him from laying the ball in. To me, there'll never be a greater accomplishment in the game of basketball.
Could you tell
People
me what
underestimate
happened
that
in the finals?
91 ring for Jordan, man. I mean, come on.
Could you tell me what happened in the finals?
Michael Jordan, every single finals he played, the opposing team did not have more than one NBA
No,
all-level
I
talent.
meant in
think
the
people
finals.
underestimate the Titans that he went up against. We're talking the Larry Birds, the Magic Johnsons. Like, I understand that people say it's a different time and era, but if you really take a look at those players, man, like, to go through all those players in one playoff string for Michael Jordan, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I don't know.
I kind
no
of
one
want
can
to
ever
ask
deter
you,
me
though,
from saying, yeah.
what happened to LeBron's team after winning that Celtics conference finals?
He
Tell
faced
me.
a team that had 5 superstar-level players, and by the way, almost won 2 games by himself, if not for J.R. Smith boneheaded play at the end of Game 1, and if not for a Kevin Durant 35 pull-up transition 3 in Game 3 of the 2018 finals. That series is 2-2 headed back to Golden State. So
But it wasn't. It was 0-4.
You can look at the results
All
all
I'm
you
saying.
want, but to me, basketball is more than that. You have
Yes.
to look. You have to look at what happened in the series, how the games went, the competition LeBron had to face, his team he had. By the way, he played the last 3 games of a series with a broken hand. After they lost Game 1, punched his fist into a backboard and broke his fingers, and he still put up 30 the rest of the series.
But I
He
think
still put up 30.
You got to give praise to the blueprint. I think when I've had this conversation with people older than me, younger than me, I always say one thing is Michael Jordan was the blueprint for what it meant to be an American star athlete. He is the blueprint. No matter what sport you come up with, golf, tennis, basketball, whatever it may be, Michael Jordan is the epitome of greatness. And I think that's outside. I guess you can understand. You can say what you want about the stats. But when it comes to global impact, I look at that sometimes more than just looking at a bunch of stats and a bunch of shots made and shots. I think that
Nobody's going to wear LeBrons 30 years from now, but people will still wear
people will
Jordan 1.
always wear Jordan. People will always
You're gonna put on
associate that.
you're gonna put on some witnesses in 20 years.
None of
from
us here
now.
were alive when
ridiculous.
this dude was doing this stuff, and we're here talking about
Look,
that.
I've got Michael Jordan 4th on my all-time list,
Wow.
personally for me,
4th.
and that's not even rage bait. I've got LeBron,
Please
tell me
Kareem.
Kobe is coming in
please
here.
No,
tell
no,
me
no,
who the
no,
3
no.
are.
I've got LeBron over him. I've got Kareem over him, and I've got Steph,
Kareem
and I've got
over
Steph
Michael
Curry
Jordan?
over him.
Steph Curry over
Steph
him.
Curry is
Wrong.
better
I
than
love
Michael
Steph.
Jordan, and it's
Steph is my favorite player of all time, but he is
will never
nowhere
be
near
the
Jordan
way,
Michael
or
Jordan.
the way
LeBron.
Steph Curry has carried teams and the way he has changed the NBA cannot
my
be
God.
compared with what Michael Jordan's
the way
done.
Michael Jordan's changed the NBA. I mean,
Yeah.
he changed basketball. He changed sports. Michael Jordan was at one point, Michael Jordan was the most famous person on the planet Earth. You can go to a little town in Africa and they knew his name completely. I think in terms of global impact, I mean, needless to say, I mean, that just
Again.
shows to the playing style. I mean, the dude went to the Olympics for God's sakes. I mean,
Yeah.
he
He was still the Olympic
I'm talking
team
about the
before
dream
they
team.
let
Exactly.
NBA
That's what I'm trying to
players
say.
play,
Exactly.
and he still managed to crush them.
Yeah.
LeBron proceeds to lose in the Olympics with Carmelo Anthony and all these people. He lost in the Olympics.
undefeated in the finals. That's what I'm going to say. I'll always go. That's
Yeah.
the safe haven for me. Undefeated in the finals. I understand LeBron played against these super titans, the KDs, the
But
Currys,
he's
and this
what?
and that.
He's 4-6 in the finals, right?
But you got to look at what Michael Jordan did to go undefeated in the finals, to leave for 18 months to pick up another sport and still be the most famous athlete on the planet. I mean,
to me personally, measuring Michael Jordan's 6-0 record in the finals, I find LeBron's achievement of making 8 straight finals better than that. The ability
Okay,
to
and
make
Patrick
8 straight
Mahomes
finals.
Patrick Mahomes went to 7 straight AFC championships.
he'll never be
Yeah,
Tom Brady.
but football's
Exactly.
different. Football's different. Football, if you have the best quarterback, you're gonna be one of the best teams. That's
If
just
you're a winner, you're going to find a way to win no matter
Yeah.
what, no matter what sport it is. That's what I'm saying. Some of these, I mean, the Kobe's, the Jordans, like, listen, man, the record doesn't lie. The record doesn't lie. LeBron James does lie, but LeBron James has what Jordan did not have: longevity. It's incredible. I'll give LeBron those flowers any day of the week. LeBron James has the greatest longevity. Maybe Tom Brady is in that
Maybe
conversation,
up
but
there.
of an athlete
Different
ever.
sports.
Ever.
Completely, though.
The greatest longevity I've ever seen of an athlete of all time is LeBron James. But man, when you come to that greatest of all time talk, you can't argue with impact.
Like I said earlier, you're not going to be wearing witnesses 30
No.
years from now,
No.
but you're still going
No.
to see Jordan ones
No.
out there.
absolutely you will. I mean, LeBron James has made
The
such
flu
an
game
impact.
was
Has made such an impact on the game. I mean, I just look at what he did last night. I mean, the guy is 41.5. He's playing in a playoff game with his son, and with his team down 6, he backpicks Reed Shepherd in the backcourt, gets a steal back, and hits a game-tying 3 with 2 6'11" guys in his face at 41.5. I mean, what I'm going to be doing at 41 and a half is drinking a beer, sitting in a
That's
recliner,
right. I'm gonna
watching a sports game and trying to suck my belly in so
Exactly.
my wife doesn't
50
see it when she
pounds
comes
heavier
in the
than
room.
this.
What
Yeah.
LeBron James is doing
Yeah.
is not just unprecedented in basketball, it's unprecedented across all of sports history.
Yeah, I agree. But again, you
bring
can't
up
deter
that
me from
GOAT
Michael
talk.
Jordan, man.
No.
He's the blueprint. I mean, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have all the numbers in front of me for the stats and everything like that, but all I got to say is 6-0 in the finals, two three-peats,
Yeah.
took an 18-month hiatus to play baseball, biggest global impact of an athlete in history. Man, for me
And for me.
and for him, Michael Jordan will forever be the greatest basketball player of all time. And you know what's crazy to me? All those stats that you just said about LeBron, like, they're incredible. He's literally playing with his son. He's still putting up 30 games in postseason at 41 years old. And people still, I mean, you have basically that's how much impact Michael Jordan has. You have to have an athlete literally doing everything. You have to have an athlete like LeBron James. And still, I'd say, 80% of the world is still going to pick Michael Jordan, which is crazy. I mean, that's impact right there. Imagine that. You have to have a player to do absolutely above and beyond. So I'm sorry, but it's my
You're wrong.
opinion.
We're all entitled to our own opinion, even if they are wrong sometimes. But I mean, the Lakers aren't done. Game 4
No.
tomorrow night, 9:30.
You think KD comes back for that game?
Probably, I don't know. Ankle sprain, they said, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different injury. I mean, he was out game 1 for a different injury, and then he suffered an ankle sprain in the fourth quarter of game 2. And
I mean, 3-0, you got to come back.
I mean, look, I think there's rationale to both sides, right? I mean, if you lose, your season's over. There's also the history staring at you in the face. No team in an NBA playoff series that's best of 7 has ever come back from down 0-3 to win it. I also think there's logic to rest him. The Rockets are already missing Steven Adams and Fred VanVleet. They did not really go all in this year, which is baffling to me when you have a player like Kevin Durant. I feel like you have to go all in. It's the same way I feel with Steph Curry and with LeBron. These guys only have a certain number of years left. You have to push all the chips to the table. And I don't really feel like Ime Udoka and the Rockets general manager, whose name is not coming to me right now, did that.
I have to assume KD's not going to be back next year with them, though. Just based on like what he's been saying about and obviously there was the whole there was that day on Twitter during the All-Star weekend where there was the whole burner account stuff, and like allegedly KD said all this stuff about like Sengun and like all his teammates and stuff. I don't see a world in which that team can function next year with KD having to be the front man for 82 games.
No.
I mean, they were pretty good this year. And, I mean, I feel bad for Kevin Durant, right? Yeah. Played 78 of the 82 games, and, the injury hits you at the wrong time, and you go out for the playoffs. But
and it always hits him at the wrong time. Jeez. I'm thinking back. I feel like every postseason, he always at the worst moments.
I mean, that's the thing about good teams, though. You got to be able to overcome injuries.
You gotta be,
and even when it's an injury as significant as Durant or give the Lakers credit. They've overcome, to this point, the injuries of Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, who, by the way, was questionable for Game 3. Reports on him were if he was unable to make it through warm-ups in Game 3, which he was not, that he would play in Game 4, which,
he's still listed as day-to-day right now because I was just checking before.
Yeah, obliques are tricky in the sense that it's not a linear progression of how you're going to get better. One day you wake up, it feels great. Some days not. I know that I had a little bit of an oblique injury one time in my life. It wasn't diagnosed, but like my side just like hurt a lot.
Weeks.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it would be definitely helpful for the Lakers to get him into a game, especially with them most likely facing Oklahoma City in the next round. You don't really want to throw him into the brunt of the fire right away against that team, that length, that defense. But again, Lakers up 3-0, Game 4 tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll touch on the other NBA playoff games for a few minutes here before we go to break. I think one thing that's been interesting to watch so far, at least for me, we're going to get to the Knicks later because it is the New York sports. I know Dennis has a lot of thoughts on that. But, I really, honestly, overall for these playoff guys, I'm interested to get your thoughts on it. I think, like the last couple of years, I feel like the NBA playoffs have kind of been lacking a little bit. Like the energy, like the aura hasn't been there. These playoffs, I feel like it's back.
This is a March Madness type of vibe. I feel like, man, all
really
these games are
feels
going down to the wire. Like, this is going to shape up to be a pretty good one, I think, this year.
My biggest takeaway over the past couple of days, at least, has been the Spurs. I mean, like, you lose Wemby, and then you still manage to win by 12 points against the Trailblazers.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the Rockets have failed to do. But
I really think that we're really seeing the full potential of Wembanyama now, to the point where, I mean, you saw it in the NBA Cup. They were able to beat the Thunder, and I think they can do it again, and that they can do it 4 more times if they have to meet the Thunder at some point in these playoffs. Be able to beat them 4 times, make it to the finals, and then beat whatever team comes to them in the East. I mean, De'Aaron Fox has looked incredible. This entire team is just like, I think the expectations were there for this team at the beginning of the season, because you had Castle, you had Vassell, you had Fox, you had Wemby, you had all these great players, and then even Harper off the bench and stuff being the rookie. But man, I feel like they still exceeded everybody's expectations, just because
for sure.
They've done so much. They went 62-20, and now they're winning playoff games without Wembanyama. They've really grown as a team, I would say.
They're so young. I thought Wemby going down, series over. Blazers win.
Yeah, they've really shown that.
I really believed that. I was like, man, they're so young. If star players goes down like that with that type of energy, concussion, like you just don't know when he's coming back. Thought it was series over, but they did a good job.
That's why it's interesting to take it from the perspective of, you look at it and it's a team that's clearly playing together and has learned to play together, and they were able to bring Luke Cornett in and just maybe not use him in the same role that Wemby was, because Wemby is one of one, but they were able to still make it work, and they were able to still work as a team and really get through that game and be able to score 120 points and beat the Trailblazers.
Yeah. No, I mean, the future's here, man. These young teams, they're coming together way better than the teams with the vets are.
Dude, the Thunder, they came together in like a year, the Thunder. Yeah. And then now you're seeing the Spurs are doing the exact same thing, where you look at it and like I said, you have Fox and Wemby, obviously, but you look at someone like Stephon Castle, who is really becoming a special player in front of our eyes, and Vassell, and I think Dylan Harper's eventually going to be your starting point guard at some point, and that team's going to be scary for a couple of years.
Yeah. Also, what's the ruling on Dame? Do we have a because I know there was a rumor going around that he was questionable when Wemby went down to try and close out the series. What are they saying?
I think there's a chance, from what I've seen, that he comes back late in the playoffs. But, I mean, I don't know. Especially coming off that series of an injury. I mean, you throw a guy out there in the playoffs, no less. I mean, what are you really expecting out of him? But I mean, I think
that changes things.
Yeah, I mean, he still was able. He won the 3-point contest.
He won the 3-point contest, so he's still
he can still shoot the ball.
He can still shoot the ball.
And we know what Dame does in the playoffs. He's a baller. He's a baller.
He will. Yeah, exactly. Now he'll put that dagger right in your heart.
Yeah, I think that's interesting to talk about with the Spurs and the Thunder. You can talk about how much you hate tanking for high draft picks all you want, but for those two franchises, it's clearly worked, and they're going to be like at the top of the Western Conference, it looks like for years to come. Spurs up 2-1 in that series. Game 4 tomorrow at 3:30. What a second-round series that would be, huh? If we got Nuggets, Spurs, Wemby versus Jokic in a 7-game series, that would be
for the ages.
I was watching that game the other week, that Nuggets-Spurs game, that I think it was like on Prime Video or something, and I was just sitting around, didn't really have much to do, so I put on that game, and it was a very close game near the end. I can't believe how good Jokic still is. I genuinely think he should have won at this point. I think it's 6 MVPs in a row. I really
He's so underrated.
Underrated.
And I don't know if it's underrated or if it's more the politics of awards, but I look at it and it's like it's this guy that comes out here and he's able to shoot fadeaways over anybody. Yeah. He's able to get the rebounds. He's averaging triple doubles all
when
these
he comes back, Jokic is cooking him.
Literally.
He's too fundamentally sound.
Because I watched that game, and I watched the
Wemby
end of that game.
is like a generational talent.
I want you to go.
I feel like in the postseason, Jokic is just too fundamental.
I want you to go find that game. It was their last matchup of the season, Spurs Nuggets, and I think the game even went into overtime, if I remember. Yeah. And like, you just watch what Jokic can do, and the way that Jokic can change the game, and it's just incredible to be able to watch.
Jokic has eyes that only LeBron James has in this league. He knows everything. He knows where everybody is. He's just too smart. Like some of those players, like you can take a generational talent like Wemby, but when you throw him in the mix with someone like Jokic postseason, like Wemby's never been, things like that, like you're gonna get destroyed because the experience is gonna trump over. Especially when you have it, because Jokic, I mean, he's talented, man. He's talented. He's got the eyes for it.
That entire team's got experience. So you got Jamal Murray there. You got AG there. I mean,
Spurs make it through. Nuggets win easy. I think Jokic is he's too fundamentally sound. He's too smart. I
think it'll be a close.
It'll be a close one, but I think we're gonna be surprised at how well Jokic does against Wemby.
Yeah, I feel like even if you get to Game 7 type scenario, like I feel like it'd be hard to then bet against the Nuggets in that Game 7 because I feel like Jokic is just going to, unless Jamal Murray really messes them up and really starts to choke like he has in the past, which he really has. Jamal Murray has. It's hard to really look at Jokic and not sit there and think this is the best basketball player in the world. He can beat anybody.
Yeah. Well, they got to get there first. Nuggets down 2-1 to the Timberwolves. How about Anthony Edwards? He's a killer.
He's a killer.
Really is.
He's a killer.
And he's going to be special. And
he is special. He is special.
I think he's going to be the best player in the league in 5 years.
I can't.
I really do think so.
That's hard to argue. Yeah.
He's one of those guys. He's consistent, man. 17 points last night.
He's that good. He's one of those. He is one of those guys who's a scoring first player, but when he's not scoring, can still make a huge impact on the game, and even just the threat of scoring is that big. All right. On the other side, that's enough of the NBA Plus. We'll talk about the NFL Draft. Day 3 of the draft is today. A lot of rounds, a lot of picks to get through. We will get to that on the other side. Stay tuned. You're listening to One on One, Europe's longest running sports call-in show.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Welcome back to One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. We're live and on replay on YouTube and live on 90.7 FM radio. Once again, Max Langer, David Topi, Dennis Valilatos with you. We've got Joe Henry, or as our beloved senior Chris Henry says, El Jefe behind the board. Sam Giangrande on the video production. Still hour one here of One-on-One. Let's get into the NFL draft, guys. Big stories over the last couple days. We've got Mendoza going first overall. We could all see that one coming pretty much
Future GOAT.
from a mile away.
No.
I'm calling it now.
No. How? He's on the Raiders. He's on the worst team in the NFL. He is on the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, I have watched so many players join that team and just be the worst players of all time. You look at Max Crosby, great edge rusher, destroys his knee last year, tries to get out of there because he knows how terrible they are. He doesn't want to play there anymore because Max Crosby's an incredible player and actually wants a chance to win a Super Bowl, and he thought that was with the Ravens. Ravens said, no thank you, we'll keep our first-round picks, sends him back to the Raiders, and now the Raiders are fine. Maybe they had a decent offseason, but now you're sitting there with a guy with a knee that's not 100%, and you have the Raiders now with Fernando Mendoza, who was an RPO merchant under Kurt Signetti's offense. Mendoza's not going to be all that. I understand where people see it, and they say that, oh, he's got the processing ability, he's got the size, he's got the speed, he's got the arm, he's got all of that. But he's also a system quarterback. Fine, Clint Kubiak was able to run an offense that worked for a system quarterback. If we look back at the Seahawks this past season, they won the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. But they have no receivers. They have no offensive line still. And now they just took a quarterback who is probably going to have to end up sitting behind Kirk Cousins. And when they're 3-4 at the midseason, is he really going to come in and be their savior and drag them to the playoffs?
I like Mendoza because I think Mendoza has a lot more development to come into play in his career. I think he's got the frame. I mean, 6'4", 230, 240, basically. This guy's frame is incredible. I think his processing, which you mentioned before, is incredible as well. I think if he can find a way to get out of Las Vegas in the next 5 years, I think he's going to win the Super Bowl one day. I really think
so. They don't have the roster to win, and I don't think John Spytek is going to build a roster that's going to let him win. I've seen Spytek over the past 2 years try to make moves, and then he drafts Ashton Genty 5th overall last year when that entire O-line was just piss poor, and we saw the result of that. Ashton Genty didn't do anything for that entire rookie year. He was decent, but he wasn't Ashton Genty. He wasn't the guy that was at Boise State who his betting lines were 150 yards a game, over-under. I don't see how the Raiders, they obviously had to take Mendoza here because
it would have been set the world on fire if they didn't.
If they didn't take Mendoza, they were trading out of the pick. But they're in a position where they've traded away Geno Smith. Their next best quarterback, I want to say, is like Kenny Pickett. Even then, I don't even think Kenny Pickett's on the team anymore, who another draft bust, but we don't have to get into Pickett. Mendoza, we're sitting here and we're looking at him, and literally it is a guy that I think did well in Cignetti's offense and did well under Cignetti, but isn't going to do anything in the NFL just because he has to play behind that Raiders offensive line, and
that's going to be tough.
He has to play with the receivers that the Raiders have. What is Trey Tucker really going to add to him?
I hope the bad O-line forces him to kind of develop those legs a little bit because I think he has the potential. I really just love his frame, and I think he has the potential really if he works on those legs. Next Josh Allen, I think. I'm telling you. I mean, I have high hopes. I really just like him. I really like him. I think his arm talent's incredible. And I think, hey, if he works on those legs, it becomes more of a dual threat. I think he's going to be a big problem. Yeah. He's huge. He's big. He's when you look at the quarterbacks in the NFL, a lot of the guys that they're bringing in lately have been smaller quarterbacks.
I think that became Dart's issue a bit. Because Dart last year, turns out it was an amazing pick for the Giants. Yeah. Didn't love it at the time for them because I'm sitting there and I'm going, you just traded a 3rd-round pick and a 2nd-round pick to trade up and get your guy. And then
the development,
he kind of plays similar to that Josh Allen style quarterback, and I think it worked really well with Brian Daboll, which is why he looked so good in those first couple of starts when Daboll was still the head coach. But he was running headfirst into people, and he didn't have that Josh Allen type frame, and he suffered from it. He got concussion after concussion, and by the end of the season, you're looking at yourself and you're saying, okay, Daboll's not there anymore, and now you got John Harbaugh coming in as the head coach. Are they really going to do much with Jackson Dart? I don't know. I love their draft picks. I love Arvell Reset 5. I love that they basically said, we're going to take the tweener. We're going to take the guy that might play off or on the ball and sit there and say, because I think Harbaugh even said in the post-draft interview, we are playing him off the ball. So you take arguably the most upside player in the draft, the guy that was number 1 on a lot of big boards at 5, and then you're able to come back at 10 and take arguably the best offensive lineman off the board in Francis Mauigoa. And you're trying to protect that guy because you've got the receivers. You got Malik Neighbors. I saw him talking because I think he was on some sort of Bleacher Report stream or something with Micah Parsons. And he said, he was like, if Tate had fallen to 5, or Tyson, if they had drafted either of those receivers at 5, then they're paying that guy more guaranteed money than they were going to pay Malik Neighbors. So if they don't believe in him as their wide receiver 1, he's going to be gone.
He's going to be gone in 3 years. Exactly.
It's interesting because you could kind of tell that Neighbors maybe wanted Love to fall there, which another shocking pick. I can't believe Jeremiah Love went at 3 when the Cardinals have so many the holes that they do.
Yeah.
But I think if Love falls to 5, you say, okay, we took a shot on Scatabo in, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd round. We take our shot on Scatabo. His knee explodes. Better luck next time. We'll take Jeremiah Love, who is maybe one of the only true blue chip prospects of this entire class that is going to be amazing at the next level.
I trust Scatabo.
But Love goes at 3 to a team that really probably needed O-line
no
help.
Offensive line, and that's the thing with the Cardinals. Like, what are you going to do? Pay him? You're going to throw money at him for what? For a player that can't even thrive? Because if you got no offensive line, you're going to have big really problems as a running back. I feel like, what are you doing?
It feels like Genty again, where you're sitting there and you're going, I've drafted Ashton Genty, and the only offensive lineman of mine that is actually maybe top 10 in his position is Colton Miller at left tackle. And now you've done the same thing with Jeremiah Love, where your only really good offensive lineman is probably Parrish Johnson on the left tackle spot, which is the same spot, funny enough, that Colton Miller was playing. And unless you're going to run the ball every game 100 times to the left side, eventually teams will figure it out. But also, like, I mean, is Jacoby Brissett your starting quarterback? Is Carson Beck your starting quarterback? Who's going to be your starting
if you're the Cardinals,
quarterback?
how are you playing it?
If I were the Cardinals,
What are you doing?
I wouldn't have drafted Love at 3.
Yeah.
That's
None of us
my
would have.
that's the first thing.
I would have gotten an O-line.
I think the thing for me that what it comes down to, like with the drafts and stuff, you know, in sports and especially the NFL, I just feel like these drafts are so hard to predict what's going to happen among anything, really. Especially because, you know, in the NFL and in the NBA, unlike like Major League Baseball for whatever, when you're drafted, you're expected to make an immediate contribution to the team the following season. You know, if you get drafted at a skill position, a running back, a receiver, a quarterback, I mean, you know, and you get drafted to a good team, you're expected to lead them from a bad season to the playoffs, or from a playoff appearance to a Super Bowl appearance, or a Super Bowl appearance to a Super Bowl ring, whatever it may be. And I think, you know, especially with like a lot of players, I mean, we've seen it with like Trevor Lawrence and Bryce Young. They come in and they have a rough first year, and now, you know, now look at what they've done. They're kind of two of you know, maybe not the premier quarterbacks in the NFL, but they're certainly, you know, guys that like their franchise are like, yeah, we love Bryce Young, we love Trevor Lawrence, we're sticking behind him for the foreseeable future. So I just don't think you could oftentimes evaluate a draft pick in and of itself.
It's not evaluating the pick. It's more evaluating the position the team's in. The Arizona Cardinals, if we really want to rip on the Cardinals right now, have drafted a running back that is now guaranteed the most money in NFL history to a running back. I think he's guaranteed like $53 million, which is more money than any running back in the NFL has ever been guaranteed. He's getting like the 5th highest paying contract based on being a running back drafted at 3rd overall.
What's the issue with that, though?
Because, fine, they were able to get Chase Besantis in the 2nd round, who's arguably one of the best guards in the draft, but you don't have the infrastructure to use a running back right now.
You're taking away from these players' talents.
Also,
you're going to hang on to them for
my
what?
big issue.
I agree. And I just have to say, like, the Cardinals are in a division with the 49ers, who are great each year, pretty much. The Rams, who are great each year. And the Seahawks, who just won the Super Bowl. Like, they have to go out and get players that can make an impact for them. They have to try.
They're rushing into a franchise player.
The issue is, but they're already spending so much at running back. They signed Tyler Algier to, I think, like $10 million a year as well. They have $25 million a year, I think, is with the number I saw, of money tied up in the running back position.
Yeah.
Which is an absurd amount of money for running backs, because running backs, their primes are so short. By 28, a lot of the time, you're sitting there and you're going, okay, this running back's done.
Both knees are blown out. Yeah.
The reason that Kenneth Walker only got a 3-year deal with the Chiefs, and I love that. I'm a Chiefs fan. I love that they actually decided to fix that problem, and they got a running back, and Kenneth Walker is their guy. But to sit there and have $25 million allocated to running back when you can go out and pay one of these guys, you could go out and pay Kenneth Walker $15 million a year. It's the point I was making, and there was a friend I've been texting with the entire offseason process, basically going, I am so glad that the Chiefs have decided to sign a running back, because we are sitting there and looking at these contracts, and there are wide receivers being offered $40 million a year.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay a receiver $40 million a year. Why is JSN getting if JSN's going to be $40 million a year, I'd rather spend $15 million on a running back, maybe give up some draft capital and go take some guy in the 1st round that isn't going to be as good as JSN.
They have the infrastructure to do that. That's what we're saying. Exactly. The Cardinals, you're wasting your time. If the running backs have such a short prime, man, you're wasting your money, you're wasting your years, man. You're not going to get anywhere.
No,
if the O-line's not intact, you are not going to get anywhere. That's what I'm saying. They should have built their infrastructure. I am never drafting a running back at the top of my thing if I know my O-line's not taken care of.
And that's what I love, that, and it's the approach that the 2 New York teams, the New York City teams took, that I really thought worked and was amazing for them. You have the Giants that go Arvell Reese and Francis Maui-Noah. You kind of get your linebacker that you were looking for, especially with Bobby Okereke leaving. Well, being released, but without Bobby Okereke, you kind of get your off-ball linebacker that maybe on passing downs can come off the edge. You shift Abdul Carter inside a bit, and then you proceed and you go out and get Francis Maui-Noah at 10, and you try and protect your franchise guy. Do I think it would have been nice for them to maybe in one of those more premier picks be able to get a defensive tackle? Sure.
Yeah.
But there was nobody there for them to take. I think what you ended up seeing is the Giants ended up getting jumped by the Texans to take Caden McDonald, who was arguably that nose tackle type that would have filled the Dexter Lawrence role. And I do think that there's probably some resentment from the Giants that they weren't able to get that done and that they weren't able to get Caden McDonald from Ohio State. But like, I love what they did. And then I love what the Jets did too. The Jets went there and said, okay, we need pass rush now.
Yeah.
So we're going to go take David Bailey at 2, which every report, everything was saying going into that night, which hopefully David Bailey can produce for you. If he can get double-digit sacks, even like 8 or 9 sacks in his first year, that's a great pick for Aaron Glenn. And that's like, it may not be the reason that the Jets say make the playoffs or something, but you're really happy with that. And you're really happy with the upside that you're going to get with David Bailey, because as he develops more pass rush moves and as he's able to become a stronger defensive lineman, yeah, he's going to be there, and he's going to be a 3-down type of player that really can excel and become a double-digit sack type of guy, like a Brian Burns, like a Brian Burns, basically.
Yeah.
He reminds me a lot of like that Brian Burns type, where it's like this leaner, fast edge rusher that can kind of speed rush around you, but can develop that power and really become one of the premier pass rushers.
Actually, I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Because you're so tapped in. Like, what is your prediction for the Jets this year? What's going to happen?
I think maybe like a 6-11.
Oh, that's very optimistic.
I do.
I was gonna say.
I really think so. I think you've built a team where you've got 2 amazing bookend
Are you a Jets
tackles.
fan?
No, I'm a Chiefs fan.
So
So that's why it's.
I mean,
an
he's not.
optimistic
Yeah, he's not even
prediction.
biased here.
I mean, if it's Jets fan, it's 2-15.
No,
at
I'm
best.
I'm a Chiefs
Jets
fan.
fan.
At
They're
worst,
going back
they
to
get
the Super Bowl,
relegated
though.
to.
Chiefs are heading back to the Super
the
Bowl, so it's
AFL.
okay.
No.
You know, we got Mansour Delane at 6, so I'm more than happy with
Yeah.
that. And Peter Woods at 29, arguably the best college football player coming into this like college football season. And then production numbers go down because he ends up getting double and triple teamed all the time. Anytime a team played Clemson, they basically just sat there and put 3 guys on him.
Yeah.
If Peter Woods can get back to what he was like in that 24-25 season, that's a steal for the Chiefs. It reminds me of the Josh Simmons pick last year, where he had a torn patellar tendon, didn't play all of that college football season, but gets drafted to the Chiefs and clearly shows why he was the number 1 left tackle on the board before the season began. Going back to the Jets, though, like, I love the pick at 16. You just went best player available. You got yourself Kenyon Sadiq, which big power slot type guy. I think he'll be able to fit into more of a receiving threat role, and you can still keep Mason Taylor in on a lot of those packages where you want more of an inline tight end. So
Now he's got help, yeah.
I don't know if Mason Taylor really is a waste of a pick last year. I don't love that they went tight end in round 1 just because you had Mason Taylor.
Yeah.
But Sadiq was the best player there, and
I'm looking to be a powerhouse on offense.
I mean, the only other receiver you could have taken there is like Mekhi Lemon, but there's concerns with Lemon. He's undersized, especially for the way that he likes to play football. And then, I mean, my favorite pick of the Jets in that first round was number 30. I can't believe Omar Cooper was there at 30.
Yeah,
and then for them to go trade up, get their guy, get Omar Cooper, you've got a very scary receiving core. You got Adonai Mitchell, who maybe hasn't been all that, hasn't been what you really wanted him to be out of Texas. Hook him. But, you know, you got your ex-receiver in Adonai Mitchell, and then you got Garrett Wilson and Omar Cooper, who can kind of switch between being that Z and slot guy, because Garrett Wilson we've seen excel in the slot before. I mean, I had him in fantasy football till I traded him away for Devon Achane, and he was putting up 20 points a game for me on the Jets.
Do you think Geno Smith is also like the caliber of these guys right now, or they need to make a quarterback switch real fast? I mean,
It's
that's
interesting.
a strong receiving core. I just like this just hit me right now. I'm like, wait a minute, it might be time to get some guys out of there.
I think part of the reason for Smith, for Geno, was that, like, I mean, I can talk more about the Raiders if you'd like me to keep telling you about how bad the Raiders are. I think the Raiders situation was just so bad. I don't know how many quarterbacks could have actually succeeded in that.
That's true.
I mean, the Seahawks
is a really bad situation there.
The Seahawks were clearly great, and you could argue they were a quarterback away and that Sam Darnold was able to do that. But also, I watched Geno in Seattle. Geno was pretty good in Seattle, and I think if they can get Seattle Geno back, though, I think he's accurate enough where he can sit there in the pocket with his bookend tackles, with Membu and with Fashanu, sit there in the pocket and be able to deliver balls to Garrett Wilson, to Omar Cooper Jr., Kenyon Sadiq, Adonai Mitchell. I think there's the potential there for. I don't think they'll be a playoff team. I think if they are, it would be one of those fringe records like a 9-8.
Yeah.
But my
Better than last year.
conservative estimate would be
Better than last year.
it would be in that like 4 to 6 win range, and I'm leaning more towards that 6 win range where I think they really can go 6-11. You're looking at the Dolphins, and the Dolphins have Malik Willis at quarterback, and then proceeded to get him zero help. Their receiving core, I couldn't name you any of their. I could name you Malik Washington. That's their wide receiver one.
That, yeah.
I think they drafted somebody yesterday as well. But Malik Washington's their wide receiver one. Tight end, I believe they drafted somebody yesterday as well. But before that, it was Darren Waller who came out of retirement after creating a rap song about, like, Kelsey Plum after retiring from the Giants.
I forgot about that.
Like, you're sitting there, and this is a team that decides to sign a guy for, like, $25 million a year at quarterback to be their quarterback, to be the guy that worked under Jordan Love and kind of build those Rodgers, like Aaron Rodgers type mechanics that we've seen the Packers do over and over again with quarterbacks. We saw Brett Favre, who then Aaron Rodgers looked exactly like Brett Favre.
Exactly.
Then Love looked exactly like Rodgers. And now Willis, some throws I see of him in like training camp and stuff, he looks a lot like Jordan Love, who looked like Rodgers, who looked like Favre. And I just don't think they set him up for success. They take Caden Proctor at 12, but you're sitting there, and my thought was, okay, you just took a project left tackle at the 12th overall pick when your team is clearly in a rebuilding situation, and you're just telling me that you have no intention of winning this year, which kind of sucks for Devon Achane. Like, I love Devon Achane, but you're able to send Waddle out. You release Tyreek because his knee explodes, and then now you're just sitting here and you're going, well, I guess we'll keep Devon Achane.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the first round, I feel like, there were probably some surprise picks, but wasn't really any absolute shockers until
there was.
Until we got
4.
to number 13.
4 was my absolute shocker. Carnell Tate at 4 just I couldn't believe that the Titans went receiver at 4. 13, you were about to mention Ty Simpson.
Yeah, Ty Simpson.
Didn't really shock me that much.
Real, I mean,
I'm sitting there.
I mean, I think everybody, before the draft, and for me, who's not a huge college football guy, looking at it, people were saying this guy is a late first, early second round pick, and the Rams to go up there and get him at 13, and it feels like they wanted him too. I mean, people are going to say,
Stafford's
what
old,
about
man.
McVay and
Stafford's
Les
37.
Snead in the postgame? But I mean, the Rams got a lot of offers for that 13th overall pick, and they didn't trade it. And so, I think you got to give the Rams credit. They
They're
make a
looking
move
to
for
the
the
future.
now. They give up 28 for Trent McDuffie, and they keep 13 and get Ty Simpson. And if he can't develop into a serviceable quarterback with 2 years of development under McVay and Stafford, then I don't know what was ever going to happen.
And I think Matthew Stafford is perfect. I think I just want to touch on that. I think speaking of proteges and people looking like they're idols from I think Stafford is I mean, he's 38 years old. It's coming to the end. I think honestly, like
I love Stafford.
I love Stafford.
Favorite
I
players
think he's
of
one of
all
the most
time.
complete quarterbacks. I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be a great he's going to learn. He's going to learn. And that's what they wanted, I think.
The way I look at the Ty Simpson thing is Stafford is miles better of a quarterback than Alex Smith was. And I loved Alex Smith, and I loved watching him, and they were a good team under Alex Smith, but they trade up to 10th overall to take Patrick Mahomes, Texas Tech. And they did that because Patrick Mahomes told them, hey, I'm not going to be there past 10. I'm going to get drafted. So they go up, they get their guy, knowing that Alex Smith is going to be kind of shadowed away and that they're going to bring in this new guy. They're going to bring in Patrick Mahomes. And he was able to sit there, develop under Alex Smith for a year, develop under Matt Nagy was still there. He was able to develop under all these guys in that time period. And a year later, he's there in the AFC Championship game playing against Tom Brady, who unfortunately Dee Ford was offsides, but he could have gone to the Super Bowl in his first year as a starter, which is incredible. And I really think you could see a similar thing happen with Ty Simpson. I think it really is just one of those things of Ty Simpson was their guy, and they went up and got him, and it didn't really shock me that they went up and got him because we've seen quarterbacks go high before. We saw Michael Penix Jr. go to the Falcons when the Falcons had signed Kirk Cousins. We saw Bo Nix go 12th overall. Like
the best quarterbacks are born from the ones who watch first.
Yeah.
because you have all the talent in the world. Your prime
Michael
isn't here
Penix
yet.
I like that.
Yeah, well,
didn't really
yeah.
grow
It's
it
the ones
there.
who watch. It's
Yeah.
the ones who watch. It's the Brady's. The
Rodgers.
Rodgers. You know what I mean? Like you look and statistically, like you can probably look this up. I mean, the best quarterbacks, winning percentage wise, are the ones who make it the farthest in the postseasons. Are the ones who have learned and have watched from someone great before them. And
Well,
so
that's
the
kind of
Rams
the
are smart.
issue.
I don't like when they throw quarterbacks
the
right in
NFL
there from the start.
today, and it's one of my biggest issues with the NFL today, is that we sit there and we look at it and we take a quarterback first overall, and the expectation is this guy has to be our guy. Cam Ward has to be our guy. We have to play Cam Ward because we took him first overall, and now he's our guy. But it's like, you can't then also have these lofty expectations that Cam Ward's going to take you to the playoffs. And at least with the way the Titans have been, I don't think those expectations were really there for Cam Ward as much. But Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Bryce Young fine, he wasn't having a great start to his career, but at some point Andy Dalton is starting again. And to me it's like, why is he probably should have sat under Andy Dalton at some point, but why are we sitting him under Andy Dalton now after he's already been a starter in the NFL and you've tried this experiment? It's the reason that anytime I see people talk about Trevor Lawrence and talk about, oh, when are they going to move off of Trevor Lawrence, I just think to myself, the guy is didn't really have a shot to sit under somebody, and he had to build his NFL experience playing in the games. Sure, he was probably the best quarterback prospect we've ever seen, one of, if not the best. But also, you can't expect that a first overall pick quarterback is just going to go and win you the Super Bowl immediately. How often are first overall quarterbacks even going to the Super Bowl in the first place?
The answer's
Yeah.
never.
Rarely,
They
rarely.
don't learn.
Drake
because
May
it's
went
not-
at 3.
It's college, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
Drake May.
I mean, that was like a sensational turnaround for the
That was
Patriots,
because I mean that's just Boston luck right there.
But Pat Mahomes went at 10. Rodgers went in the back
Yeah.
half of the first round. All of these guys, they don't end up being that number 1 overall pick, and it has a lot to do with the development philosophy of these teams, and that's why I truly think Ty Simpson can be a great quarterback. It does concern me a little that, assuming he sits for 2 years, that he'll have 6 years of football experience, at least college and NFL level, and he'll only have played in one of those seasons. But at the same time, it is 6 years sitting under some great minds. He's sitting under Nick Saban and sitting under all these amazing people that can develop him into being a future starter in the NFL.
Yeah. All right. As we move into hour 2 here, let's get to the biggest sports story in the world right now. Maybe not in the world, in the United States so far, at least
In my
on
world.
social
In my
media.
world.
Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. We will approach this topic with caution. Obviously, the story is still playing out. There are many cards that have yet to be turned. Much we do not know about what will or could happen in the future, but I do think it's worth talking about, especially because, this involves two key figures in the NFL landscape, an NFL head coach and, maybe not the Shams or the Jeff Passan of the NFL, but certainly someone who breaks news on a regular basis in Rossini. I do want to get to a point I talked about a little bit before the show with you guys, but for the WFUV Sports Draft Night, there was a conversation going on in this very studio exactly about how much this matters. And then there was a question that, Griffin Stevenson, Tucker Austin, and Brendan Shorey, who were talking about it, and there was a debate between whether it's not a huge deal that Mike Vrabel is missing today, which is day 3, of the draft, to go to counseling, and then there was an argument that it is a huge deal, and that's where I stand, that being a coach in a professional sport, and especially in the NFL, where even after you win the Super Bowl, I think Mike McDonald took, 10 days off before he got back to work or something, that being an NFL coach is a job you do 365 days of the year. So I do think Mike Vrabel missing today is significant. I think maybe my theory is that he's missing day 3 of draft because they're trying to send a message out there to the court of public opinion that he's missing something important.
This is a PR.
Yes, he could wait until tomorrow to leave, but by missing today in day 3, is it going to have a huge impact on the Patriots? Probably not. But
he's
it's
skipping
showing
5
that he's
picks.
doing it.
So they had 3 picks in the first 3 rounds. They took Caleb Lomu in the first round, which, quick side note of that, love that pick. I think Will Campbell's going to slide inside to guard, and that left side of that line is going to be pretty good this next season. They pick in round 2 Gabe Jacques, who's an edge, and I think he'll be fine, and they take a tight end in the third round. But that was 3 picks, and they have 5 more picks today. And to make those 5 picks, where this is really where you find those like future starters. That's where you find those guys the gems where like maybe they weren't the highest rated people coming out of college football, but maybe they played at a smaller school and still had the production numbers. To me, it's one of those things of like, could he have not just waited till Sunday?
I think
I think it is this thing of like trying to show that it does matter to them.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things of the head coach to me is such an important part of drafting because it's the person that's going to choose who actually goes out on the field.
Yeah.
When Les Snead drafted Ty Simpson, Les Snead wasn't going to sit there and go to Sean McVay, okay, I've decided Ty Simpson's your starting quarterback. He gave Sean McVay a quarterback that he can choose what to do with, essentially.
Yeah.
But Sean McVay must have been in that conversation to understand drafting him. Whereas I feel like Vrabel not being there, and it's like I said, you're missing a majority of your picks now.
I think this Vrabel situation, like, and I
want to hear your thoughts on this because you're very passionate about it.
I love the Patriots. Born in Massachusetts. So everything I say here is going to be with love. Horrible situation.
Yeah.
Terrible situation. I think you have 2 options in a situation like this with an affair. You say nothing at all, or you do something about it. And so I think the Patriots, they lean towards, hey, listen, you know what? We're going to make a statement that, you know, we're going to have him go to counseling. We're going to have him miss a day of the draft to send a message out there that said, look, this isn't all right.
I think that's a big part of, like, Robert Kraft's
You know what I mean? Like, that's his mentality. It's like, hey, if you're winning, you're winning. And if you got issues in life, you know, you can deal with that off the field.
And it feels like Robert Kraft has always been one of those guys that, like, really wants to help his players and cares about his players and coaches and stuff.
Which is why Robert Kraft. I mean, he is a man of integrity. I know he's got some stuff in the past, some things he had to deal with, yes, but he's a man of integrity. And I think I mean, obviously, like I said, it's a terrible situation, but I liked how they handled it. Listen, he got it on a press conference. Yeah. He didn't say much. He said, these are personal things happening in my life right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's very remorseful. But it's nothing to get fired over. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's winning. The guy just came off a Super Bowl season. And again, like we were talking about this before, you think he's the only NFL coach out there to do stuff? I mean, I'm not calling anyone out here, but I'm just saying, like, look, you know, it
I'm
came
just
out
saying,
the way it did.
you know, of everything you hear, it's like the iceberg. The Mike Vrabel Rossini thing
it is
on
the
the top,
iceberg. And
underneath,
and
you know,
know.
who knows what's going on behind the scenes? Who knows what deals have been cut to keep stories from coming out
all the time.
All the time.
What I have a problem with is it gets murky here because this is a reporter. You know what I mean? This isn't like a Celtics coach a few years ago who got caught with the trainer or whatever. That was a different story. That was
having him tell her things like
that's where it gets tough. That's where I would agree with. Hey, it's like, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
It's crossing a line for Vrabel, like for pictures to come out from it was like March 10th. And then for a few days later, for a report to come out of Rossini basically saying who the Titans were looking at quarterback.
And this is 6 years ago, man. It's been on for 6 years.
And then they proceed to sit there and actually sign Ryan Tannehill after she reports they aren't interested in Brady and that they're interested in Tannehill. And Titans head coach Mike Vrabel, who does he get? Ryan Tannehill.
That's where I get a little bit like, ooh, that's tough. I mean, that's hard to kind of blow off.
I mean, here's the thing about it, and I know these two things are not comparable, but I mean, how many political affairs do we see and stuff like that, and how do you compare those two?
It's one of those things. I mean, if we really want to talk about like Bill Clinton and stuff, I really
if we want to go there. Let's go there.
Really want to go there.
Let's go there.
Let's go there. Let's go there. Yeah,
if we really want to go there, it's a certain thing of like, and I'll leave it as a very blanket statement. If you have done something that is, first of all, illegal, I don't want you to be in office.
When it gets illegal, you're out.
Anything in office. That's my number one. And then the immoral stuff. Like I personally wouldn't want that person being an elected official. But like, it is an issue with the world where we see a lot of these people in power that are able to get away with more things, and I don't appreciate it and I don't love it.
I know.
From the perspective,
I don't want this to get swept under the rug. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it will.
Acknowledge it.
I don't think it will. But I think when it comes down to it, the affair definitely has some impact on what reports get leaked, and that certainly has an impact on how teams
Of course.
make their decisions.
What are the players
and stuff.
going to think?
But
Man, this guy, you're
but
seeing
but
this guy make
I
a
will
coach.
say, when it comes down to it, on the sidelines on Sunday, it's not going to have an impact, a direct impact, I think, on whether the Patriots are winning or losing games.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
whether
yeah.
the Patriots lose a one-score game or win a one-score game, it's not going to be because of this thing with Rossini. The one thing I will
It's the
add
same
is that
thing with Diggs.
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
a- it's
you
the thing
look
with
at
every
you look at the Diggs
scale.
controversy.
Yeah.
He
That
still
was
played
bad.
wide receiver.
He
for
was
them.
fine. He made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Did he play well in the Super Bowl? No.
professional athletes have
yeah.
a incredible, flush it and move on
Yes.
mentality. They have a
Yes.
great ability to move to the next
Yeah,
play.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
even- not just
Yeah.
even that, like college athletics. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, people who play at these levels have an ability to, when something happens, to just immediately move on and look
Yeah.
for it. It's a really impressive skill. And, I think the thing with the NFL is, and we've seen this especially over
And they don't do well with scandal at all.
especially over like the last 10 years or whatever, is that players will speak out when something happens. I go back to Kaepernick. I go back to Harrison Butker. I'm sure there's a million other examples that just aren't coming to mind right now. But when players have an opinion on something, they're going to go out and say it,
Oh, yeah.
right? And, especially with the NFL, the great thing about the NFL that I think more so than any other sport is you have far left-wing people, you have far right-wing people, you have everybody in between, right?
Yeah, but Harrison Butker missed a kick wide left against the Chargers in the home opener.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's such a huge populace of people that come from all different backgrounds, but and the players too, right? That's what's so great about the NFL is that it's a game that so many Americans love. But I mean, if you're a Patriots player and Mike Vrabel doesn't put you in, you
Yeah.
think there's going to be somebody who's not going to be like
Of course.
saying something? I mean, I'm not
My
going
best
to
advice is,
say
hey,
never.
terrible situation. Mike Vrabel, be a man of integrity. Accept it. Claim it. Say, hey, listen, I messed up. That's life. I may be an NFL coach, but I'm a man. And, I mean, hey, look, like I said, there's two options teams can take here. You say nothing or you do something. That's it. So I think Mike Vrabel, hey, listen, he came out. He said these are personal reasons, but, hey, you messed up, man. We get it. You know what I mean? We still love you. You know what I mean? I'm saying, like, I get what they're doing here. They're trying to get him out. They're trying to send a message that, hey, listen, this man is having some more conflictions right now, and he's going to take some time to take care of that. And I respect that. And I respect that.
I mean, I think
wouldn't have handled it
it's-
any differently.
It's very similar to what the Rams are doing with Puka Nacua and saying he's going to rehab, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a PR move. It's a
Yeah.
political move to try to freshen up his image. All right.
This is a brand, yeah.
We will get to, on the other side, Yankees, Mets, more Major League Baseball. Very long segment here. Stay with us. Hour 2 of One-on-One, New York's longest running sports call-in show.
You're listening to WFUV, New York.
Well, Charles Dickens wrote A Tale of Two Cities. Here in Major League Baseball, it's a tale of one city and two different teams. The Mets and the Yankees going in two completely different directions. How about the Yankees? They have won 7 in a row here. Going to try to make it 8 tonight against the Houston Astros. And for the Mets, just got through that 12-game losing streak, but last night falling to the Rockies. Today's game, due to weather, has been pushed back. It's going to be a doubleheader tomorrow. But Yankees and the Mets spiraling in two completely different directions, with the Dodgers loss last night. The San Diego Padres now have the best record in baseball, but 5 teams are really up there crowding for the best record. It's the Padres, it's the Dodgers, it's the Yankees. Cincinnati Reds are right up there.
Not the Red Sox.
Big Ellie De La Cruz guy. So
I'm an LA guy.
Yeah.
I'm an LA
I like
guy.
him too. I like him too.
Yeah. The Reds are there. Atlanta Braves. They've been kind of devastated with injuries for the past 2 seasons and PED suspensions as well. But they're right up there. They've got a 10-game lead in the National League East over the Mets and the Phillies, who are both reeling. Phillies have lost 10 in a row. That's their longest losing streak since before the turn of the century. Really 2 teams, like I said, going in opposite directions right now, guys. The Mets, not just losing, Juan Soto just coming off from an injury. Francisco Lindor, he's going to be out for an extended period of
They're
time.
doing a little swap right now. Soto's in, Lindor's out. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, they're in some trouble, but Yankees are playing well. They got off to a good start, had a little bit of a regression here, but now back on with 7 in a row. And the pitching has been great, the hitting has been great, but for the Mets, it just seems like what can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah, I just looked this up yesterday. I think it was what was the losing streak? What was it? 14 in a row?
12
in a row.
12 in a
No
row.
team has ever gone 12 in a row and won the World Series. So safe to say, if stats are correct, that's game.
their season
That's
ended
game.
in
If
April.
history repeats itself, yes, the
That's
Mets
game.
will be missing the playoffs for the second year in a row.
Yikes. And hey, Yankees. I mean, nothing ails me more in this life than talking about the Yankees as a Red Sox fan, but you got to do it. And I mean, hey, Aaron Judge is the beast. What is it, 8 home runs already? Ben Rice playing out of his shoes. I feel like going to school in New York, I feel like, I don't know. It's sad to say, but sometimes I'm more tapped into the Yankees players than with the Red Sox. And the Red Sox, I mean, it's over. It's over for me. But, I mean, yeah.
I mean, they just don't slug.
They don't.
It's the problem. They just don't hit home runs. And in today's age, if you don't hit home runs, you're not going to win games.
You need heavy hitters. But, yeah. But, I mean, hey. Stanton. I heard Stanton's going crazy lately. I mean, I've heard how many home runs does he have already? I mean, he's already I think it's well over 6, I think.
Let's take a look.
But I think the big story right now is, Ben Rice has been playing out of his shoes. And yeah, hey.
He only has 3.
Only has 3? Okay.
Yeah. Well, they're getting hits from everyone else.
But yeah, exactly. Hey.
And Big G, he's a playoff guy. I say Big G as if I'm a Yankees fan. I'm just not. I just call him Big G.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think the thing with the Yankees is, really for the last, since Aaron Judge has been there, they've always had the talent, to win the World Series. They've always had the talent. It's just been a matter of putting it together on the field. They've had some tough injuries, right? Obviously, Garrett Cole last year.
Yep.
Judge missed some time a couple years ago, but I mean, this year it feels very good.
It's the story. It's
for
the
the
same
Bronx
thing every year,
Bombers.
man. They're so talented. I mean, can they do it? Can
You
they
think
not
this is
choke
the
at the
scariest
end?
lineup in the MLB?
Yes.
The Yankees?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, I mean,
No, Dodgers. I mean, but
I mean, the Dodgers are up there, but I mean, Kyle Tucker has not got off to a good start.
Yeah.
Even for his standards, Shohei Ohtani's got like a 790 OPS, which for him is like terrible.
It's just Aaron Judge alone scares me. So
I'm Aaron.
that's
Judge,
where that comes from.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think is the most terrifying lineup then?
Yeah.
Like if you were to play a game, right? Not you, but like if you were to send the Dodgers to go play a team right now that you would be most scared of their hitters.
Most scared of their hitters.
Least want to play them.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, even taking this season into account, for me, even with how badly they've played, it's still the Blue Jays.
Oh yeah.
It's still the Blue Jays for me because I just feel like
Jays.
their lineup 1 through 9 is so deep. I mean, they've got like Kazuma Okamoto hitting like 8th, and he's like this like perennial all-star in Japan. They've got Ernie Clement, who's hitting 7th, who had the most hits ever in the postseason last year. So I mean, I know they haven't gotten off to a rough start, and it's only been like whatever it is, 25 games. They say in baseball that 60 games is like a reasonable sample size for how a team will perform across the course of 162. So I mean, 25 games. It's still early, but then again, it's been 25 games, so you got to start
It's been early,
hitting.
but hey,
Yeah.
what's done is done. Hey, I mean,
Some
you're getting a
teams are
glimpse at
done.
how these teams are going to head out.
I
you
think
know?
the Mets have the potential to have one of the scariest lineups. They just haven't.
They
They
can
just
never
haven't
figure
hit.
it out.
I mean, there are days when you feel like, wow, Francisco Alvarez is a top catcher in baseball. We know about Lindor, we
yeah.
know about Soto, but I mean, picking up Bichette. I mean, Marcus Semien has had years where he's been like an offensive force.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the ability to do it, but I mean, I still have to go with my Dodgers, even
Yeah.
though
Yeah,
I mean, they just have so
I mean,
much
they spend
talent.
so much money.
Red Sox could lose every game this year. I'm still
They
saying
do have
they
the
might
talent,
go.
though. Like Yamamoto. Like anytime I think about him, like I see him and like I just think about the World Series. Like, yeah, he beat the Blue Jays essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an all-time performance. It will go down
So-
in history for sure.
Are the Dodgers going back? I mean, we know your answer.
Yeah. we know
I
your
mean,
answer.
no,
But
you don't know
why?
my
But
answer.
why?
I might be a pessimistic fan. Actually, I am a pessimistic fan. When it was 3-0 in Game 7, the faith was completely out the window.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, well, we at least we won the World Series last year. We'll
Yeah,
take
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But I mean, it's so hard in sports to win 3 championships in a row, and especially in baseball when everything just comes down to who gets hot at the right time in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, you look at like the Yankees or whatever. If Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton are hitting in the playoffs, like
Totally different team.
I mean, they're a different team. Like they're
Unstoppable.
probably
But we
unstoppable.
also haven't
they're
seen that from
unstoppable.
Judge.
Exactly.
I
There's no
mean,
consistency
No,
we
we
look
haven't.
back.
We
We look back
haven't.
at the World Baseball Classic, and Judge
Yeah.
was he went 0 for 4 in the finals. I mean, like in terms of hitting, and it's just like if that Judge just keeps coming back, which it seems like it keeps
They'll
happening.
never win.
Yeah, exactly. They're never gonna win.
But if there's anyone good, I mean, Shohei's the guy. If it's gonna
He
be the
is
guy
that
to do a
guy.
three-peat, it will be him. It will be him.
Yeah,
I don't think any other athlete in baseball right now is equipped. Is
No,
equipped
and
to get to that moment and execute.
I don't think there's any athlete in baseball that's nearly on the level of Shohei. I
Yeah.
feel like Shohei is just the best athlete.
I think he's the best athlete in the world.
I think he is.
Is that
too.
crazy?
I
No,
think-
I think he's the
that's
greatest
not ridiculous.
athlete
That's
on the
not
planet
ridiculous to
Earth
say
right
that.
now.
There's something
Shohei
about
Ohtani.
he kind of has the speed, but like the not decision making, but the ability to be able to hit a ball that's being pitched that fast,
It's unbelievable.
so consistently,
At
and
that
then
size
be able,
and pitch.
at that,
Yeah.
be able to throw a fastball.
He might be the most complete athlete of all time.
I think he might be. I think
might
the thing that people don't appreciate about Shohei still to this day is everybody talks about he's a two-way player. Wow, that's cool. But you know what? No one even talks about on top of that. He's amazing at both
Yeah.
hitting
Exactly.
and pitching.
That's impossible.
That's so
That's
impressive.
impossible.
He's arguably the best pitcher and the best hitter. in
On,
the
on
American League.
any given
Yeah.
day, he could be the best
That's
hitter and the
unbelievable.
best pitcher, which is like, I mean, you look at Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth was like an average pitcher for 2 seasons,
Yeah,
and then he
yeah.
wasn't good. He was a great hitter,
In
but
1916.
yeah, right.
I feel like
when they were throwing 83-mile-an-hour
I was gonna say,
fastballs right down the middle.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
interesting because I think it's an argument that people get into with all-time greats and stuff across all the sports.
Yeah.
And I don't think the gap is bigger in any sport than baseball. I feel like basketball, you could argue somebody like Larry Bird could probably still shoot over somebody.
Yeah.
Football, these guys, they were hitting very hard
Yeah,
back
yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah.
They probably could still hit hard now if
Right.
you just took them and you maybe coach them up a bit to get them in terms of the penalties. Baseball, these guys aren't pitching
Different
like
world.
if
Yeah.
I throw a slider to like some of these guys from like the 80s or even the 30s or whatever,
No. Never in a
they're
million years.
never in a million years going to hit
Million
that
years.
ball. At least to me.
Well,
At
Shohei
least from
bats
like my
first. For
understanding.
God's sake, he bats first.
Yeah.
He genuinely puts down the gloves and he goes literally. And
Yeah.
I've seen the clips.
Yeah.
He goes up to the bullpen. He grabs his bat and he goes up to the base right after pitching.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Well, excuse me right there. We got a caller on line one. We've got Jack from Dorchester calling in. Jack from Dorchester, you're on one-on-one. Go whatever.
Guys, first time, long time. I'm definitely in Dorchester. I'm not sitting in the middle of Southwest Connecticut. I'm absolutely from Dorchester. Listen, I'm going to cut right to the chase. I'm a lifelong, diehard Red Sox fan.
That's right.
You probably can already tell how I'm feeling. But I just wanted to, you know what I wanted to do? Rather than just say the same old, recycled stuff, I thought I'd play a quick game with you guys. I'm going to go
Let's do it.
through a list of the things I'd rather do than watch the Red Sox.
yes,
right now.
yes.
And at any point, this is a absolutely judgment encouraged zone. If you think I'm too crazy, just let me know. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we'll do.
Go for it.
Rather than watch the 2026 Boston Red Sox at this point in the season, I would rather walk barefoot across the floor of Lego bricks.
Easy.
Okay, yeah.
I'd rather watch the ending of Marley and Me.
Oh,
I'd
oh,
rather
brutal.
Yes.
I mean, you're gonna cry either way.
Yeah, tears either way.
Yeah.
I'm crying either way. So I'd rather deal with the IRS.
Easy now.
You could pay your taxes late, right?
All right, keep
But
it
the way it's
going.
been looking,
Let's hear what else is out there.
If you're having questions about that, then you're gonna have some questions about the later ones. All right. I'd rather listen to someone's Italian uncle list all 27 Yankees World Series wins.
Easy.
I'd rather get a root canal.
Easy.
I'd
they put you
rather-
in
I
there
get that.
and
I
Yes.
get that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather drink curdled milk. I'd rather lick a subway pole. I'd rather sit in bumper-to-bumper traffic on the George Washington Bridge.
Yeah.
I'd rather swallow a bug. I'd rather step in a puddle with fresh socks on.
Yeah.
I'd
Oh,
rather-
I
Easy.
hate that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, just
Okay.
bring yourself a towel and
You know
some
what?
more socks.
True.
Yeah.
Not
I'm getting
red
so
socks,
much
though, 'cause
closure
they
right now
won't fit.
because someone feels my pain, man. I love this.
Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly. No, trust me, dude. We're trauma bonding.
We're
It's all
trauma
good.
bonding right now, and it's beautiful.
I'd rather my pillow be permanently warm.
Oh, no.
Steaming
I-
hot.
no,
Steaming hot.
no.
What?
Steaming hot for a 12-game win streak.
I'll watch the
Steaming.
Red Sox go
Yeah.
0-162
I'll sweat every
rather
night.
than that.
I'll sweat every night.
I'd rather get Head and Shoulders in my eyes. I'd rather drop my phone on my face while I'm scrolling in bed.
Yes.
I'd
it's not that bad.
I'd rather accidentally touch my face after cutting fresh jalapenos.
Mm.
I would rather catch a razor scooter to the ankle.
How long does this list
I'd
go?
rather, I'd rather snort hot Cheeto dust.
Easy.
Yeah, that was easy.
I'd rather get relationship counseling from Mike Vrabel. We're almost done here. I promise, boys.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
rather do yoga. I'd rather do yoga on a mat made of mouse traps.
Yeah.
I'd rather play spike ball with a beehive full of hornets.
Easy.
I'd rather wrestle Vince Wilfork. And
That's-
to round it off,
It's not going to be
I
a
would
long
rather-
wrestling match.
And to round it off, I'd rather take a Mike Tyson uppercut to the jaw.
Wow.
All of those are 100% correct. Correct.
Yep.
I would
I
do
figured.
every single one of those things rather than watch the Red Sox right now and more because it is just that
Good to
painful.
know.
And no one understands because genuinely, and if you live in Massachusetts, they affect your livelihood. They affect how people treat you.
absolutely.
They expect they affect how the Dunkin' Donuts workers treat you when you go and get a coffee in the morning. They affect how the traffic is in the morning. Everything that happens in Boston revolves around how that group of men is playing.
Yeah, I'll tell you because
And
there's
it is
not that
brutal.
there's not that many of these left in America. But I mean, San Diego's one. Boston is still a baseball town. It's a
Yes,
baseball town.
yes.
Like even above the
Baseball central.
Celtics and the Patriots. You know, as someone who's never lived there, I just know that it's the Red Sox above those other teams.
Oh,
but
yeah.
thanks so much for calling, Jack. We really appreciate
I'll
the
just
list.
Say, listen, boys. All jokes aside, you guys have had a fantastic show today. I
Hey,
want to let
thank
you
you
guys
so
know.
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you.
All right, call again soon, Jack. Thanks so much. All right, I think he's gone.
He's
wow,
gone.
that was a ridiculous list.
I
Yeah.
feel good. I
To
feel
listen to.
really
You know,
good
you
right
feel
now. to be honest
validated
with you. I feel
now.
validated, man. No one's been listening, and now I get. Listen, hey, it is brutal. It is
Yeah,
brutal.
you would take that entire list?
I would take every single one. Ooh, the IRS was brutal.
The
That
IRS
one hurt my soul.
The one I couldn't
IRS
do
was
is the
brutal.
warm pillow. I mean, I need the cool pillow. Like
Now
I
I'm
can't
thinking
fall
back.
asleep.
At that
yeah.
point, I'll
But
just
for the
get
Red
rid
Sox
of
to
my
win a World
pillow.
Series, man.
Yeah,
We would
exactly.
do a lot.
I'll
we
just
would
throw
do
my
a lot.
I'll throw my pillow away to watch the Chiefs win another Super Bowl next
Man,
year.
yeah, exactly, man. Sleep on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I did that once.
Man, yeah, I feel good. Thank you for that. Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was a very impressive list he compiled right there.
How long did that take? That was taking weeks.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, well, he's got weeks of the Red
Yeah,
Sox
you
losing to come
We
up
got a
with
long
it,
time.
you know?
We got a long
He's
time.
got a while till they win.
He had
they
every
start
game. That was
winning
for
again.
every game they've lost so
Yeah.
far. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to think about what we were talking about before the phone call came in.
Shohei
Probably the
Ohtani.
Yankees,
Shohei.
but do we really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're talking about
Okay.
Shohei.
Shohei.
and-
What a surprise
And
talking about
yeah,
Shohei.
comparing like kind of just Shohei
Yeah.
is such an amazing
Oh, yeah.
athlete, and kind of comparing that to like
What-
eras. And
What I was going to say on
yeah.
that is that even like 10 years ago, the
Yeah.
amount of skill that's required to hit a pitch wasn't even comparable. Like,
Oh.
I remember watching the 2017 World Series. You know, it shows how much of a baseball nut I was. I was like 10 years old, and instead of going out trick-or-treating, I was inside watching Game 6 of the World Series or
Halloween
whatever.
night.
Halloween night.
Man.
Halloween night. I think I did go out a little bit later, and around my block, like, there were a bunch of people, like, because this
Dressed
is how...
as
dressed as it,
As
but
Dodgers
also
first
like
baseman, yeah.
there was also like all the parents that would like stay home while their kids went out, like had a bunch of lawn chairs set up in their driveway with the screen on. So I would like walk by, get the candy, I'd be go like, oh, there's the score. Oh, Jose Altuve home run. Dang it, man. And then I just keep walking. But I mean, even in that era, like George Springer was hitting like 91-mile-an-hour cutters and like 84-mile-an-hour sliders, and now you've got guys like Mason Miller who are throwing like 104, and the next pitch is a 98-mile-an-hour slider that's like from here to here in like half a second.
You put Shohei against Derek Jeter, 0. A-Rod. A-Rod's one of the ones though. That's different.
He could do it.
He could do it. A-Rod could take him on, but I mean, baseball. It's one of the fastest changing sports. Like the athletes that are just coming up are just. I mean, when is it going to end, man? Like, geez, we're literally having people pitching and hitting back to back. That's how good these athletes are becoming. I mean, it's incredible. Because basketball, it's a medium. You can't.
Yeah,
you'll have the stars, but there's always going to be like it'll always be. You know, you could put someone in the NBA now back in the '90s, and they'd pretty much.
Even I watch modern basketball kind of. And it's not like they're dribbling much different than they did in the past. They're really doing a lot of the similar stuff, just closer to the ground to protect the ball more, rather than like sometimes you'd see Larry Bird bouncing it at his hip. But like they're keeping it more down to like the knees and stuff just to protect the ball more. But outside of that, you're not really seeing a lot of that ISO ball that they're doing with the crossing and stuff that you see somebody pull out in a park as much.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like baseball, because the game is so similar to an extent of how it's played, just refining the skills that go on in the game, that I feel like baseball, it's just such a large gap between that skill that's actually needed, because it's the same skills that have been built upon rather than new skills being created.
I think you're right. I think like, you know, in at least the three sports that I follow closely, basketball, baseball, football, like every so often we see a new guy that's like doing something like really impressive. Like I think about like Steph Curry 3-point range.
Yes.
Like that changed the game.
You get one of those,
And I think about like the NFL. Gosh, I don't know, like what's been new.
Who really changed the sport?
I mean, maybe like Aaron Rodgers throwing range.
Maybe
the
Aaron
fact
Rodgers,
that he can throw the ball that far.
Yeah, let's say Aaron Rodgers
Like
released. I think the better one would be. I think the better one would be to say something like, say we take a look at
Rob Gronkowski. I don't know.
No, I was gonna say.
I'm like, all right.
Like a Michael Vick.
Okay.
Or a Dante Culpepper or Randall Cunningham, where
comp.
you kind of started transition maybe into the more mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
And then you move into Cam Newton, who's kind of the blueprint of Josh Allen, I feel like, where it's this really big guy that's mobile. And then eventually you get to kind of that smaller but twitchy build of like a Lamar Jackson, where I feel like Lamar Jackson has kind of completely changed the quarterback position, where people have seen how successful Lamar is and seen Lamar win 2 MVPs, that all these guys out of college have to have some sort of mobility, or else you're just not seeing them go as high. I mean, even Mendoza, he had some sort of mobility to him, which is why he was still able to be taken that high.
Yeah, but I mean, like, getting back to what I was saying about like the different sports, after you made an incredible comparison with Michael Vick and Dante Culpepper, I think that was like what I did about changing sport. I feel like that, like, kind of going off what we were saying, baseball has like the biggest jump in the sense, like, you know, like I said, over the last 10 years, I mean, you had like guys are now throwing like 102 mile an hour
where
fastballs.
Athletes are genuinely. I mean, basketball though, but you can argue, but it's over a bigger period of time. Baseball, athletes are literally getting better every.
I mean, it's not just even Shohei either. I mean, I remember like the Mariners had a guy in their system who. It didn't work out, but he was he threw with both hands.
That's
he
crazy.
was like a right-handed reliever throwing to righties, and the left would come up, and he would just switch.
That's crazy. Yeah.
That's why it's one of those things that I really applaud the people that have been in the MLB for a long time.
To be in the MLB over 10 years.
You look at like Salvador Perez, who won with the Royals against the Mets, and now it's still. I mean, the Royals haven't been great this year, which is kind of shocking to me, especially with Bobby Witt, and like you kind of had the makings of a team last year and stuff to really be able to elevate, but they haven't. But Salvi has still been there for 10 years now.
Yeah.
And Salvi is still hitting well enough that he's able to start on a lineup.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be ready. It's going to be 4 GOATs. It's going to be Michael Jordan. Sorry. Michael Phelps. Tiger. Shohei. I think that's going to be the upper echelon of athletics.
Just athletes, pure athletes.
I think that by when it's all said and done, I think that those will be the top 4 athletes that people will consider the GOATs.
I don't know, man. I mean, like, I hate to see what we'll like have in like 50 years or whatever, because it just feels like, how is anybody ever going to be better than like Shohei or whatever?
They're
but
just going to keep getting more athletic.
Someday somebody's going to come along that is going to. That's
An
why it's
alien
so
like
hard
Victor
to compare
Wembanyama.
players.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like another
a 7'6" guy that can shoot the three ball and dribble like a point guard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
All right. Let's take a break. Halfway through here on this Saturday's edition of One on One. When we come back, we will talk about the Knicks. We're going to talk about they're being down 2-1 in that series. Remember, you can always call in again, 718-817-2750. Even if you don't have a long list of reasons you'd do something rather than watching the Red Sox like Jack
I'd take
did.
that list for the Knicks right now.
But, it's true. It's true. Down 2-1. They've got some time. But we will be right back after a quick break here on One on One.
Hey, this is Chris Carino, Fordham and WFUV class of 1992. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rucco, WFUV class of 2008. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Hour 2 of New York's longest-running sports call-in show, One on One. Max Langer, David Topi, Dennis Valilatos with you, Joe Henry, and Sam Giangrande behind the scenes producing and providing the graphics. Let's get into the Knicks. Guys, down 2-1 in the series. I know you certainly have some thoughts on this. I remember watching Stephen A. the other day on First Take. Not something I do a lot, but I did happen to see it this time. He was going off on Mikal Bridges specifically, giving up 5 first-round picks, no points in that Game 3 there. Does provide some defense, but you got to score in the playoffs. And the Knicks, with Game 4 tonight, 6 o'clock Eastern, are in as much of a must-win as you can get before facing elimination.
So, I'm from New York. I'm a Knicks fan. I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. And when the Mikal Bridges trade happened, I texted somebody, why did we give up 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges? Because we had a wing defender. We had OG Anunoby, who was incredible. And as much as I loved Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett and think they would have been great in the way that their system currently is built out, OG's also been great. And I love OG, and he's been great this past couple of years now. You go out, you trade 5 first-round picks for another wing defender in an NBA that's evolving out of playing in the ISO type. Maybe the Wolves still do it a bit because they have Anthony Edwards. But nobody's really sitting there going, okay, give your point guard the ball at the top and have them run at the rim. You don't need wing defenders as much. So, like I said, I was confused. I asked people, and they were like, oh, trust the process, trust the process. So they proceed. They go into the playoffs, Hardenstein and all of them, and it's a pretty decent playoff run, whatever. They then trade for Karl Anthony Towns, which that trade I was more taken aback by because I'm like, okay, you never really saw the lineup with Randall in it, and you're trading away DiVincenzo, who I love DiVincenzo. I think he provided something that they didn't have.
He's a really good player,
which was an on-ball defender that could shoot the 3-ball, and they didn't really have that, and they traded that away. And then you also trade away Randall, who was kind of a serviceable power forward, and we're kind of seeing that with the Wolves, that he still is pretty serviceable.
Yeah.
I didn't love that trade. I get told by people, trust the process. Okay, so now we have this lineup of Brunson,
now we're on the third,
Bridges, Hart, OG Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns. We have none of our depth pieces that really made the team what it was, like the Emmanuel Quickleys and stuff. and we're also missing 5 first-round picks. I mean, the roster construction is just terrible from the top down, and I don't really get how. I mean, you're having successful seasons, which is why you haven't been firing. Why you haven't been firing the GM. I don't see how Mike Brown has a job after this season. I was one of the big supporters of Tom Thibodeau getting fired because I'm watching the playoffs and Josh Hart is playing 48 minutes a game, and I'm just thinking to myself, what are we doing? Jalen Brunson is shooting the last shot of the game, and the guy looks gassed. Mike Brown's going to get fired. I don't know where you go with it after that. And
well, I mean, they're
I don't
only
think
down
they
2-1. I
don't
if
think
comes
they
back
make it
and
out
wins
of
the next 3 games.
They're not going to win this series. They're not
oh,
going to.
Come on.
They're
it's
not
the
winning
Hawks.
this.
I mean,
Yeah, and they have
Problem is,
Nikhil Alexander-Walker, who matches up very well. C.J.
Come on,
McCollum,
come
who's been
on.
playing out of his
Out
mind.
of his mind.
Jalen Johnson, Onyeka, they have such a good roster, and they have a 1-game lead. I don't see how they drop 3 to the Knicks because I've watched this team for long enough to understand when the disappointment's going to come and how to literally just live with it at this point because I expect it to come.
But they're producing. I mean, the Knicks, Brunson, 26 points. OG, 29
and then
points.
Towns. What happens when we go back to the other side of the ball where Brunson now has to guard C.J. McCollum?
It's a defense.
Because our 2 wing defenders are standing there waiting for C.J. McCollum to drive and waiting for him to kick out. Oh, wait, he doesn't have to kick out because he's defended by Jalen Brunson.
And it's what happens when you have over-reliance in the starting lineup. No defense.
I just think that especially in the NBA playoffs, more so than the Major League Baseball postseason or the NFL playoffs or the NHL postseason, that your stars are going to carry you. And I just don't feel like the Hawks have enough star power to win 4 games against the Knicks. And I get that Mikal Bridges hasn't played well, and Karl Anthony Towns has been underwhelming, and maybe Jalen Brunson isn't doing Jalen Brunson like 40-point performances where he gets to the line 12 times and makes a whole bunch of circus layups. But I do think that it's just a matter of time for the Knicks, and I wouldn't be that worried about them being down 2-1.
But they've also lost to the Tyrese Halliburton Pacers for 2 years in a row. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think Tyrese Halliburton's all that. Any time that I've watched him play, my thought process is the guy may be a little clutch, but he does not have the physical talent or the shooting ability to be one of the best point guards in the NBA. And they lost to the Pacers twice in a year.
Yeah.
I find Pascal Siakam had his voodoo magic last year when he had the white eyes and stuff, and they brought it to a Game 7 last year against the Thunder even. But, I don't think the Pacers, even when Halliburton's back next year, I don't think the Pacers are going to be back to being in the finals because I don't think the Pacers were a good team. To an extent, I feel like this Hawks team has been playing better than that Pacers team that has beat the Knicks multiple times.
They're more sound. They're more defensively sound. I think what's
all right,
going to happen
guys, we got a caller.
Oh.
He's from the Swim Apartments, wherever that may be. He is the proud owner of The Shot, The Heave, the backwards half-court make, heard all around the world. Nathan, you're on line 1 and here on One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's your favorite FUV member, Nathan Rogers. What's going on, guys?
Hey, Nate, how are you?
What's up, buddy? How's home?
Amazing. I got 2 questions. 1, is the expectation for the New York Knicks still the finals after Mike Brown is like, I can't guarantee we're going to make it that far. We're shooting 60% from the free throw line. We got to lock in after Game 2 of the first round of the playoffs. We're talking about locking in. Is that expectation still there? Question number 2. Is Steph Curry hitting the same shot that I hit in the Rose Hill gym behind the back? First try. Is Steph Curry making that? I don't know.
Yeah, Steph's always making that.
Answer to your question for the second one, absolutely not.
What?
Nathan, that was incredible.
I agree.
And you got to have faith in Steph Curry.
Nathan Rogers,
Come on.
when Nathan Rogers was standing
I've
at
got more
half
faith
court,
in Nathan
he was
Rogers
standing
than I do
at
Steph
half
Curry,
court.
I'll be honest.
Half court, he looks me right in the eyes, the man on the phone right now, standing at half court on a college-sized court, looks me in the eyes and says, yo, watch this. Yeah. Flattest shot I've ever seen in my life, behind the back swish.
So flat. It was
Absolute
a line
swish.
drive, and it was just. It wasn't even like a mediocre swish. It was like it didn't touch any not even the inside part of the rim.
Nathan, I've never seen something more incredible in my life, and I am being serious.
And Valilatos, hey.
Yeah.
We were in a mock group. Hey, remember, don't doubt your mock leader.
Never doubt the leader.
Don't doubt
Hey.
the mock leaders, man.
Hey, I was the one called by Joseph Henry called me Steph Curry on the moon. I think I can have all the takes I want on
That
Steph
wasn't
Curry.
Steph Curry in the moon type of shot,
Fair
Nathan, by
enough,
the way. I
fair
want to
enough.
be, yeah.
All right, let's get to your actual sports question
Yeah.
about the Knicks. Is the final still the expectation for Mike Brown's team? I do want to say that I
was
do
a weird
think
thing
that
to say.
I mean,
that
was a
clip
weird-
that clip was taken a little bit out of
was a little out of
context. Where it
context.
That's what I've
says-
heard.
He says he doesn't know that they're going to win the NBA Finals. I mean, he doesn't know that
Which
they're going
is,
to
I
win
mean,
the series either.
the
But
mentality should always be you're going to win the finals,
Yeah.
man. What
I
type of thing
also-
is that?
I
Really,
think
you're
you can
gonna say?
tell how I feel just based on this series. I literally, as much as I don't want it to happen, and I have friends that, like, every time I tell them, I don't like the team, I don't like Thibodeau, I don't like Mike Brown, they're like, why are you such a hater of the Knicks? And I go to them, because I've watched them, and I can watch the games, and I understand what they're doing is just never going to work well enough where they win the finals. And I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think they've already lost this series to the Hawks. And like you said with the mentality thing, I think Mike Brown has now gone out and said basically
Outed
our
himself.
mentality isn't to win the finals, which
Who
is
says
like,
that?
who says that? And what does that tell the players? Maybe Brunson's able to get through it. Maybe Cat's able to get through it because they're their star players. But say we look at the bench. Is Landry Shamet going to go there and say, okay, if my coach doesn't believe, why should I believe off the
man?
bench? I'm coming off the bench for 10
Exactly.
minutes a game.
Exactly.
Deuce McBride, Jose Alvarado, if he ever
Yeah.
even gets
Yeah,
the time of day to play. All these guys coming off the bench, they're meant to sit there and go, wow, our coach is so inspirational. He has no hopes that
He's
we're
saying
actually
we
going to win
can't
the Super-
promise a
like,
final. Man, that happens in Boston. You are gone.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
I really
done.
think Mike Brown's going to get fired. I think they're going to be with their third coach in their third year by
Yeah,
the end of
I think so,
by
too.
the start of
I think
next
so, too.
season.
I mean, maybe it was taken a little bit out of context, but I feel like if you're in the NBA postseason,
Yeah.
it should never come out of your mouth
No.
that
Yeah.
you're not sure.
I mean, he should have
or
said
you can't
something
promise. like, you know,
he
show
should
us.
he should have said something like, obviously the series isn't over, but we're confident we're going to come
Exactly,
back and win.
exactly.
You know, that's the PR answer.
Because
you
then what does
give.
that do to the fans, man? You know what I mean? The people are waiting outside MSG right now,
Yeah.
probably for the next. You know what I
They're
mean? Like,
they're probably waiting out there right now. They go out there on 7th Avenue after the game,
oh yeah,
and
yeah. And in a
it's
place like New
just-
York, you can't say stuff like that,
No.
man. You can't say stuff like that.
Well,
So-
Hey,
thank
boys,
you.
good
Thank-
stuff.
Yeah, thanks
I'm
for
gonna
calling.
hang up,
Hey,
but-
Nathan, take care. Take care of yourself, buddy.
Hey, you guys are the best. Have a good show.
All right,
Thanks.
Thanks,
See you, bud.
Nate. Call again sometime soon. Once again, if you want to call, 718-817-2750. Again, that's 718-817-2750. It's the number on the bottom of your ticker right there on the screen. Or if you're listening on 90.7, you just heard me say it twice. Let's get back to this series itself. Knicks trying to get it back to New York, even 2-2. Game 4 here. I know it's close to a must-win game, but guys, you probably know a
It
little
is a
more
must-
than me.
it is a must-win
how,
game.
Must win.
How do they slow down C.J. McCollum? Because he has been. I mean, he's been like
They
the new
don't.
Trae
Play
Young.
defense.
they don't. They need defense, and Jalen Brunson doesn't provide that for you.
I mean,
Exactly.
what changes are you making to the rotation? Because
What
if you're
changes
Mike
am I
Brown,
making?
you
I'm-
got to do something with what you got,
I'm not
right?
playing Brunson Cat at the same time anymore.
Yeah.
Even though
What?
I mean,
I-
they went. I think almost like an entire quarter without either of them playing, because they wanted to save them and be able to have them have kind of the gas to be able to go in the fourth quarter. But like, you got to play the star players more to actually be able to maintain leads. But then also, I don't know how much you can really play them together. They've been able to have the pick and pop work recently, and that was a big thing coming out of the end of the season, that they finally actually looked like teammates that knew each other well and knew their tendencies and stuff. But like, Jalen Brunson's going to keep getting cooked. Like, it's just the fact of the matter. I've watched him attempt to play defense enough in the past few years that I know what Jalen Brunson does and what Jalen Brunson is capable of, and I know defense isn't that. My biggest thing for him is, like, I take into consideration his career with the Knicks now, and his contract is going to come up, and he's going to be like 32 or 33. He's not going to get a supermax contract from them, which is kind of interesting to look at from this perspective of, like, how far along are we into the Jalen Brunson Knicks career, and how much is left of the Jalen Brunson Knicks career? Are we close to the end of that career? Are we going to have to look for a new number one option soon? Or are they going to be able to? Are they going to be willing to pay him what it takes to keep him? But even then, is he going to be good enough to keep playing in that level that he can carry a roster to at least the playoffs?
I don't know. I mean, hey, if he keeps defending like this, because I mean, again, like I said before, the Knicks they're providing. You know, their points aren't dipping. Brunson's still putting up 30, and Anunoby's playing great. Well, the problem is it's a defensive struggle. Is what's happening.
It really
right now.
is.
And if they can't get that together, they're going to lose a lot of games, and they're not going to make it deep in the postseason. So, who do you do? I mean, what do you do?
Like, do you start Mitchell Robinson at this
That's
point?
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Because I mean, Mitchell Robinson gives you that added defense, but also, are you starting Mitch and Cat next to each other? Are you just starting Mitch and telling Cat to come off the bench? What does that do for Cat's psyche if you tell him, hey, you're coming off the bench despite being one of our highest scorers? And then even then, with Mitchell Robinson, you get to the point where they get to the bonus, and then it's Hack-a-Shack all over again,
Right,
Hack-a-Mitch. I was in Boston for one of the Knicks-Celtics games last year, and I'm sitting there, and even the Celtics fans were cheering when Mitch made a free throw, just out of pity.
During the
of
playoffs, that's rough.
They were cheering because he went 50%. He made the first one. They all cheered, and then you kind of hear people chuckle when he misses the second
like
one.
usual, yeah, exactly.
Which it's like... Do you really want to fall into that trap again? I love Mitchell Robinson. I kind of wish they kept Hardenstein, though, because I think Hardenstein maybe wasn't the greatest defender. I think Mitch is one of the best defenders in the NBA right now, at least at the center position. But Hardenstein really gave you a lot more, maybe not flexibility, but a lot more depth in terms of his ability to be able to actually make his free throws and be able to maybe do something extra on offense that maybe they're lacking off the bench rotation, but then even lacking off the starting rotation in a position where maybe you could start Hardenstein in a scenario over a Cat if he was still on.
So if you are Mike Brown,
what
are you doing? You're Mike Brown, and this is must win.
I mean, I'll go
any
here.
means necessary. What are you doing?
I don't think you can make a lot of changes, to be honest, because
I'm benching Hart.
You're playing. I mean, look,
I'm
you're down.
Hart for
You're
Mitchell
down
Robinson.
2-1.
He had
Okay,
a quick
but
one.
look,
He had a quick one. Yeah.
You're down 2-1, but both the games you lost have been by 1 point. I mean, it's by the smallest.
They're going down to the wire.
It's by the smallest of margins, and I know that in sports.
You also called a timeout while Jalen Brunson was driving to the rim, and then you don't have a timeout when you catch the rebound when you could go drive down for another 2 points and actually win the game.
I don't know. It's hard for me to blame.
Oh, by
Mike
the way,
Brown
what's
happened?
I just love this. I love ripping on the Knicks.
I kind of feel more for the TV production stuff because something must have gotten sent wrong in the messaging, but for it to claim that they had a timeout when they really didn't, and then because people went back to look, okay, where was the last timeout, and then they go and realize, oh, it was when Jalen Brunson was driving to the rim. Mike Brown decided, let me call a timeout right now while Jalen Brunson is driving to the rim and about to shoot a layup. That's our last timeout of the game, and now we don't have a timeout when we catch that rebound off the missed free throw to go down.
I mean, you
and
can't
score 2.
if you're on the production side, you can't make that error, especially in the playoffs. But
and
I mean, I just don't know what
yeah.
else the Knicks are really supposed to do, and Mike Brown is supposed to do with here. I mean, you've lost 2 games by 1 point. I mean, I think honestly, what you got to do is. We'll get him tomorrow. I guess in this case, we'll get him tonight and
Doesn't
go out
sound
there.
like he wants
and
to
don't
do
be
that,
saying it's over on press conferences.
Don't say that. Actually, definitely don't say that. I mean,
you're right. You can't change much.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you still got to stick with the best players you've got on your team. I mean, you can't make any big changes.
Gotta hop on defense.
I mean, look, one of my favorite sayings is
bench Hart for Robinson.
One of my favorite sayings is "Heavy as the head that wears the crown."
Yes.
And for the Knicks, that's Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. And when they lose, they should be getting the brunt of the criticism, which other than Mikal Bridges, they're getting right now. And when they're winning, they're deserving of a lot of the praise. But, I mean, it just, it comes down to the point where if we get to the end of the series and the Knicks haven't done it, I just don't think replacing Mike Brown is going to be the solvent to all of this team's issues. Now, I do understand that the head coach has to be held accountable for what happens with the team, right?
Of course.
But I don't think he's the problem. I think the problem is the Knicks have lost 2 really close games to a team that has some big time shot makers down the stretch.
Yeah.
And Alexander Walker and McCollum. I mean, this is a Hawks team. They traded Trae Young in the middle of the season. They're they haven't had that much time.
I think he's haunting them. I think Trae Young is haunting the Knicks, and I think it'll never change. I mean,
it's
this
okay.
is
he's suffering right now.
Story as old as time.
He's got to go play for the Wizards. So
yeah. I mean, he got his punishment, but listen,
he got his punishment.
The Knicks. I mean,
The
They're gonna suffer
2020
for a long
Wizards,
time.
though, are pretty good. Trey Young and Anthony Davis. Ooh,
I know,
I mean,
but
that's
Anthony
a
Davis,
contender
made of
league.
glass, injured every
Both of
6
them are made
months.
of
I mean,
glass.
what else is new? Like, come on. I mean, bro, literally had like an injury that the doctor said they've never seen in their lives. How does that? How do you do that? How do you hurt your hand so bad that they're like, we don't even have a name for this injury, man.
I mean,
really
there's so
makes
many
Made of
like,
glass.
tiny
What can we
bones
say?
in the hand, but you
It
still
really
gotta-
makes me question that Lakers trade so much more, especially now that we see Anthony Davis on the Wizards. It's
he
like,
can't catch a break. Yeah.
but like,
Question the
how-
Lakers trade for the
yeah.
perspective of who? Of the Mavericks doing
Yeah,
it?
because
Question it more than you already did when they
it
did it.
made
and
me-
nobody
no.
knew.
So it's like 12:30 at night. The Lakers just played the Knicks. Unfortunately, the Knicks lost that game. I remember that.
I remember.
Knicks lose to the Lakers, and then the report comes out that Luka's been traded for AD. I could understand the justification. It made zero sense to me, but I could understand your justification. Oh, we want more of a defender that can play the 4 spot because we've got all these other centers. We've got Gafford. We've got Derek Lively. We've got guys that can play center, and then he can play more of the 4 role that he's always wanted to be able to actually play. So, like, I could understand the justification. And then you go and trade him away to the Wizards.
Jeez.
And that made me go, okay, what are the Mavericks doing? I don't know. I mean, like, that team just... I understand why Mark Cuban, while he still associates with them, has made it very clear that he hasn't been a decision maker there in a while.
I haven't thought about Anthony Davis seriously since I was 11 years old. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna be. I mean, listen, the guy. It's sad, but he can't catch a break, and he's so talented, dude, which breaks my heart. But I mean, hey, dude. I mean, what do you say? The guy's injured all the time. You know what I mean? He's a liability. And when it comes to heart, he's a liability. So
I'm curious how that Mavs team would have been if they actually played with Cooper, Kyrie, Clay, and Davis all at the same time.
you never know. I
That's
feel like
a
every team
big
Kyrie's
what
on
if.
where there's stars like
It
that.
is
I
a
mean,
really big one.
look at Kyrie and the Nets. Like, basketball's one of those
Nets.
sports. Like, you just never know.
Never
You
know.
never know. Imagine that. 10 years ago, if I was like, imagine having Harden, KD, and Kyrie on the same team, you would have been like, oh, easy, 3 championships.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Blew it up within 1 year.
it all depends.
All right. On the other side, we will get to the Mets. Didn't touch on them a whole lot in that segment. We ended up getting on the Yankees and that Red Sox roller coaster there. We'll also get to some general MLB, some Fordham sports. Final hour of One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Coming up next. Stay with us.
You're listening to WFUV, New York.
All right, final hour here of One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. On the slate, we will get to the Mets. We will get to a little more of general MLB. Didn't talk about it that much in the earlier part of the show. And we will end it with a game, sports trivia, from our video producer, Sam Giangrande, called Hi, My Name Is. Definitely looking forward to that one, and showing off how much more I know about sports trivia than you guys. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll probably right, but we'll see.
We'll let the game speak for itself. No, I'm not sure. I think I'm probably overconfident in my abilities, to be quite honest. But let's get into the Mets, guys. I just think that when you look at what's happened the last two seasons, since whatever it was, June 24th or whatever, when they started going on that downhill run. I remember the end of that Miami Marlins game when they got eliminated. Gary Cohen had this great call to finish it, and he was like, and the Mets' 4-month season-long collapse is complete. And it was just a beautiful finish to what was a disastrous ending for the team in Queens, and off to a brutal start here. Hasn't just been the record. They've been hit by injuries. Marcus Semien has not hit well. Bo Bichette has not been a great addition so far. It's still early, but it is getting early late in Queens for the Mets.
I mean, for me, it's one of those things of, like, it's interesting with them because a couple of years ago, it was maybe even last year, I think, I was talking to these people that I worked with at a summer camp over the summer, and I was talking to them about the Mets because I knew they knew more about the Mets than me, and I was like, hey, what do you think about these rumors? Alonso may be leaving after the season and all of that, right? And they go to me, the issue with the Mets right now is they're putting all their eggs into, like, the future basket, kind of. And they want to kind of build for this future, which is interesting because then you bring in Juan Soto, which is kind of a win-now player. But so many of their guys are kind of future prospects that you're hoping kind of work out almost. But, like, I don't know. This team just year over year just underperforms. And I don't know if they'll ever reach that glory of even making the World Series like they did back in 2015. Because just it doesn't seem like they know what they're doing in that front office in terms of roster construction.
I agree. And I think injuries are a big part as well lately.
Yeah. Lindor. And
well, it's different because I think losing, like, Lindor, I mean, that's different because losing an outfielder is different. That's from a defensive standpoint. You could work with that much more than you can work with losing a shortstop from a defensive standpoint.
Losing Juan Soto from a defensive standpoint is probably addition by subtraction.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. So, but losing Lindor, losing your shortstop for a little while there, like that's a big. I mean, defensively, that's a hit. That
outside of the pitcher, probably the most important position in baseball.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely up there in terms of. But I mean, I don't think you can blame even a little bit the Mets' slow start on injuries. A lot of it has been put on Carlos Mendoza, which I think is unfair. I just kind of have a tendency to not blame the head coach or the manager of a team. For me, it's like sports is always a player's game, and players deserve the credit when it goes well, and they deserve the to shoulder the load when it goes poorly.
Yeah, the backlash. Yeah,
and they deserve the backlash when it goes poorly, and they've certainly got that. Lindor, obviously he missed pretty much all of spring training with a hamate injury. That just goes to show you how many small bones are over there in the hand. Comes back, did not get off to a great start. Has had a better last week or so, driving in some more runs. He had a big 3-run home run in the Mets' 12th and final loss of that losing streak. But I mean, again with the Mets, I just kind of feel like they need some kind of spark. And it's not going to be Grimace, and it's not going to be Jose Iglesias singing "Oh My God" in the outfield. It's got to be something that I don't know. They just have to play better. I mean, it's just as simple as that. They just have to play better.
That can be their new mascot.
The way they're playing, that's correct. Yeah. And I think, listen, Juan Soto, you're making a lot of money.
He is.
Stand up. Play what you're worth. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously it's not on one guy, but listen, if you need a spark, it should be the guy that's getting paid $700 million. You know what I mean?
Shohei does it. Shohei goes out there and he performs for the contract that he's getting.
He performs. So, I think it comes down to a performance standpoint. I mean, it's going to happen in baseball. You're going to have losing streaks. But I guess it's baseball. You know what I mean? It's a different situation every day. You could be playing great. I mean, the slumps, it's all luck. You could have 3-4 players in the same slump happening at the same time. You have no control over that.
We were kind of talking about how, like, you can't really judge a full season off the first 25 games. But, like, are the Mets – can we not judge the Mets right now? Can we not say that the Mets aren't going to make the postseason?
No,
no
I
team
don't think
has
we
done
can
it
say
yet.
it. I mean, I can't say it.
You think the Mets still have a chance to turn this around?
I'll say it. No.
I mean, they got so much time left.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I do.
I mean, at the same time, I don't think
They're
the
so
Red
good,
Sox
but they're also
are.
they are really they're so
I
good.
just think the Mets have a lot of talent,
They have
and
so much
over the
talent.
course of a 162-game season, that's going to come out eventually. I also think that with an expanded playoff format, and 6 postseason spots, it's not an end-all be-all if they don't win the division. Especially with, I feel like a lot of these teams right now in the National League are kind of top-heavy a little bit. Like like there's the best teams in like the Dodgers. I think the Padres are up there, probably the Braves so far. But then there are a lot of teams that just like aren't competing. Like the Marlins aren't there, the Rockies aren't there. I feel like the Diamondbacks have like no pitching at all.
So it's not like they're like
The Nationals are bad. I mean, eventually the Mets are going to be in the conversation where they're going to come down to like 3 weeks left, and it's going to be like, 2 spots for 3 teams, 1 spot for 2 teams, or whatever. And I just feel like their talent is too good. They went through like such heartbreak last year that I feel like it's going to kind of be easier to come back from that in a sense, if you get what I'm saying. I just feel like.
How do you feel about their pitching rotation right now?
I really like McClain. I think he is a future Cy Young winner. Freddie Peralta has not gotten off to the best of starts, but again, he's such a good pitcher that you just kind of have to bank on his talent coming through eventually and playing well. And the Mets have assets in AAA. They didn't trade them all away this offseason. They got some back for McNeil. When you get to the trade deadline, if you want to go out, relief pitchers, starting pitchers, they're difficult to come by at the trade deadline, but there's always teams that are willing to trade with the Mets because they feel like they can fleece them.
Exactly.
So it's not going to be that difficult, I don't think, for David Stearns to go out there and get pitching if he needs it, which is interesting because the last few years the Mets have traded away guys. I remember that one deadline 3 years ago when they got rid of Scherzer and Verlander on the same day, shipped them out of Queens. But they can go out and get pitching if they need it. Lucas Giolito was out on the market. Padres ended up snagging him. Their rotation was really beleaguered. Pivetta down, Musgrove down, not bouncing back well from Cy Young last year. So I just feel like with the Mets, it's like a ticking clock on when they're going to get right for me. And I know they've been bad for 9 months or whatever, and I shouldn't say that they're bound to turn it around. But I just feel like they're going to go on like an 8-game win streak in the next like couple weeks, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, hey. Again, I don't know. I disagree. No shortstop, it's tough.
Yeah. I think they're just going to keep losing games.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with that because I just think,
they put Bichette at shortstop.
Yeah.
He's not a great defensive shortstop, but yeah.
They got to clean it up defensively.
It's bleak for the
because
Mets.
they have the heavy hitters. They can send homers all game long.
That's if they hit the ball.
Exactly.
Like that's literally if they hit the ball.
Yeah,
they do, right? But I mean, it's like the Mets have kind of been falling victim to like some of the Yankees things. Like they're not playing clean defense.
Yeah.
They're rounding into a lot of double plays. They're not
double plays have been killing them.
They're not hitting the ball that hard.
Yeah.
And when it does go well, it kind of seems to backfire. I think about like even when the Mets do something right, it doesn't work out. That last game in Miami when they were down 4-0 and Alonso hit that like 123-mile-an-hour line drive to left center. That's like a hit 98.6% of the time.
And they just can't put a point.
Javier Sanoja snagged it in left field. They got to score. They got to
score
runs.
I'm looking at these games right now, man. Scored 1 point, 2 point, 4 point, 2 point, 1 point. I mean, they haven't gone over.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Of like,
haven't gone over 5 runs.
Like you might be able to have the power to hit, but you gotta hit the ball.
Yeah.
To even be able to use that power.
You gotta be able to score.
Yeah.
And the games they've been losing. I mean, some of them have been down to the wire. 1-2, 1-3. They got to put up runs with that roster. They got to put up runs, man.
Yeah.
Hit the ball.
Well, let's move off of the off of the Mets because they are pretty depressing. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the rest of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Yankees obviously best record in the AL right now at 17-9. Red Sox the inverse all the way in last
Man,
place,
that
9-17.
That hurts.
I feel like the AL East coming into the year, like everyone always says, like the AL East, or at least not everyone always says. I felt for the past 3 years that the AL East and the NL West have been the two best divisions in baseball. AL East isn't off to such a hot start this year. The Rays, they've been playing well. The Rays always find a way to play well.
Play well, and then
Always
obviously never make it. But.
Yeah, they just don't have as high a ceiling because they don't have the talent, but. They know how to win games. Them and the Brewers, they win games. The Orioles are 13-13. I loved what the Orioles did this offseason. I thought they'd be off to a much better start. The Blue Jays, we mentioned it, 10-15 though.
Yeah.
They're playing better baseball as of late. And we've talked about the Red Sox a good chunk.
I don't get the Red Sox. I mean, the lineup this. I mean, Roman Anthony. Why? I mean.
Yeah, it's because he doesn't like ketchup.
Exactly.
a ketchup
I
hater.
heard that. I was very upset.
Are you a big ketchup guy?
I'm a big ketchup guy.
What's your guys' favorite condiment?
Ooh,
Uh,
ketchup.
yeah.
Hot
Ketchup.
honey.
How many are
Hot
there?
honey. Jesus.
Hot
Nice.
Honey? I mean, I don't know. Maybe like, I don't know.
Hot dog ketchup.
Yeah, it's just ketchup. It's just
Mustard.
ketchup,
I mean,
like,
nah.
I
think
don't dislike mustard. But
Do you guys
it's
do
what-
the ketchup mayo mixture? Am I putting you guys on?
I'm not really a
next
mayo
time you
guy.
next time you go to the calf.
Really?
Yeah, you take a little bit of ketchup, you fill the little ketchup thing maybe halfway, a little bit less, throw some mayo in. You will never go back.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now.
We're gonna
You
try
will
it.
Never
We're
go
gonna
back.
try it
We
right
will
now.
try it
Yeah.
after the show. We're trying that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. American League Central. Look at it. We talked about the Royals for a second. 9-17. I thought the Royals
I
would
don't
be
really
good.
know how that's working.
They have
like
the
have
third
talent.
best player
Yeah.
in the game, and Bobby Witt,
Yeah.
in my opinion, behind Shohei and Aaron Judge.
He's
but
he's the best shortstop in baseball.
Yeah. No question.
yeah. The White Sox. How about Murakami, Huss? He's got like 6 home runs in his last 7 games.
Playing out of his mind.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about him is, like, when he came over, everyone was like, oh, this guy can't hit the fastball. He's not, like, the premier Japanese hitter coming. He's not an Ohtani. He's not a, even like a Seiya Suzuki was thought to be a lot better than Murakami. But,
Proven wrong.
the south side of Chicago has paid dividends for him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they have.
And I'm trying to see what else. I mean, honestly, like, so far this season, like, looking at the records, all these teams are, like, really close.
very
Yeah,
close.
baseball is such a long season. Like
Yeah.
you just really, I mean, when do you can't make calls until basically well over halfway through the season. It's just so many games. It's too many. I mean, we've seen the story over and over again. There are teams who are last in the first 25 games.
Yeah.
Who end up winning the pennant. You know what I mean? So my hope for the Red Sox is still burning. I hope so, but again, the season's so long. You just never. I mean, baseball could go either way. I mean, although I just ripped on the Mets for the last 30 minutes, man, I'll take it back in some extent to, like, you really do never know. The season is really, really long for baseball, and it could change.
You really can.
You really. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those sports. Like, I mean, every game is just it's
because there's so
there's
many.
just so many
games.
opportunities. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how many games are in the season?
162.
162,
Imagine that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is double the NBA, which is at 82, and then I can't even do the math
Double
right
the
now,
NHL.
but like it's double
It's
the
like
NHL.
9 times the NFL season.
Exactly. Like
Go to a 30-game winning streak and still end up. You
Yeah.
never know.
That's what I say. Like, I always say, like, one of the best sayings in baseball, I forget who said, I think it might have been Buck Showalter of the Mets, but he's like, if you go 6-5 every 11 games, you're like an 89-win team, and you're almost guaranteed to make the postseason.
Right.
So, like, you just, you have to ride the hot streaks when you can and steady the ship when you're not playing great baseball.
Goldfish memory.
Yeah, goldfish
that's it.
memory.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's one of the most important things in sports.
Yeah.
Just being able to get past that and just continue to be great.
Every time you get up on the bat, new play, new game. I mean, you just have to ride the wave, see where it takes you.
Yeah. What are you
can't-
guys' thoughts on what Mason Miller has done for San Diego? 30 scoreless innings. He's striking out like 70% of the hitters he's faced.
Unbelievable.
He is, and there have been articles written about this by baseball media, national media, that he is, he's right now is well into the Cy Young conversation for a reliever, which is not something we've seen in a long time. I'm trying to remember who the last reliever to
Paul
win.
Skeens. Because Skeens is like, low-key,
Win
what
an
was he? He was
award
falling off
was.
for a little bit, right?
Win a Cy Young. Who was the last reliever to win Cy Young? It was R.A. Dickey. No, Gagne in 03.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So it hasn't been done in
Right.
almost 25 years. And
He's
I mean,
definitely making a
Miller,
case.
he's doing historic stuff. We talked about it a little earlier. We were talking about like the evolution of just like the nastiness of pitches.
Yeah.
His stuff, like people go up there and it's like I
103,
haven't seen batters look
104.
as hopeless.
Yeah.
Like I mean, he blows it by them. They've got no shot.
I mean, he can touch 105.
Oh, he can.
He can touch 106.
His ERA is 0 right now.
He hasn't given up an earned run all year.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary.
I mean, it's crazy to say, but like, if I were a Padres fan, I'd be like, I mean, what's the over/under on blown saves this year? It's probably got. I mean, it's probably not a half, but it's probably like 1.5.
Yeah.
1.5. Like, I'd be mildly disappointed if Mason Miller blows 2 saves the entire year.
I know.
If I were a Padres fan, which is ridiculous
That's
to
ridiculous
say,
to say, yeah.
because most closers around baseball have already blown like 2 saves this early on in the year. But Padres, they got the best record in baseball right now, 17-8, and that's notable because they were off to a 1-4 start. So, doing the math, that's what 16 of their last 20
Not
that
bad.
they've won. Braves 19-8. How about the Marlins playing at 13-13? They've played well. They had a great end of the season last year, and carrying that over to this year. Mets and Phillies at the bottom. It's been rough for them. The Pirates are actually playing well, which is interesting. Very surprising. The Brewers are last in the National League. National League Central, every single team is above 500.
Jeez.
Which is interesting because that's the division where nobody there spends any money.
Yeah.
And the NL West, Rockies have already got their 11th win after breaking the record for the worst season in baseball
I was going to say they had the
last
worst season
year.
in baseball last year, so maybe they're cleaning it up a little bit.
Yeah, they didn't get their 11th win last year, I think, till like the middle of June. And it's not even May yet, and they're already 11-16.
Better than the Red Sox.
Yeah, I mean, the
Better
Phillies
than
have
the
the
Red
worst
Sox.
record in baseball right now, which is, if you told me that 25 games coming to the season, I would have said you are ridiculous. All right. That'll do it pretty much for our general MLB segment. When we come back, we will talk Fordham sports for a little bit, and then we're going to leave about a half hour for our Hi, My Name Is game from our video producer, Sam. You're listening to One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Mary Hawthorne, one of your hosts on WFUV's tennis podcast, Cross the Line. From breakdowns of majors to courtside U.S. Open coverage, we've got you covered on all things tennis from the ATP and WTA. Tune in to weekly episodes of Cross the Line on YouTube and featured segments on One on One. Cross the Line, WFUV's home court for tennis.
Hi, this is Spiro Ditas, WFUV class of 2001. WFUV is the epicenter of Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, men's and women's basketball, and of course, our iconic Saturday show, One on One. So keep your radios locked in right here, 90.7 FM, for all things WFUV sports.
Hour 3 of One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Max Langer, David Topi, Dennis Valilatos with you, Joe Henry, and Sam Giangrande on the production side of things. Let's talk Fordham basketball, guys. Not often that there's a lot of notable things to talk about here at the end of April, but how about the Rams? Both the men's and the women's basketball teams are making moves right now. Men's, they had 5 guys going into the transfer portal who were integral parts of last year's team. If I can get them off the top of my head, it's Rika Schulte, it's Kira Jacobs, Abbas Bodija, Jack Whitbourne, and the last one is, I'm going to get there, Roracor. Got them all 5.
Never forget Roracor.
Never forget Roracor.
Never.
As Joe Henry says, Gilra. God, I love Roracor. He was the lead, one of the lead broadcasters for Fordham men's basketball this season. So, Joe, if you want to talk during this segment on the producer mic, you're more than welcome to about your thoughts on Fordham basketball.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'll chime in.
Okay, please do. Also, Fordham women's basketball.
New coach.
New coach, yeah.
New
Coach
man on
Bridgette
deck,
Mitchell.
yeah.
She was here for 3 years. You know, she She was okay. The team did not play well. Finished last in the A10 this year out of 14 teams. They still made the playoffs, but lost in the first round. That was in Pittsburgh. No, Virginia, I believe. Yeah, the men's conference tournament was in Pittsburgh. The women's was in Virginia. They lost. So new head coach Neil Harrow comes from Long Island University. Already got a couple of transfers to the team. They have one new player who scored 25 points in a game against Fordham last year. So Rams are really looking to rebound. Joe, you got any thoughts on this?
Sorry, we're talking about coaching salaries.
Oh, coaching salaries.
You're talking
Okay.
women's basketball coaching move?
You can talk about coaching salaries if you want to. That's an interesting thing.
Well, I don't want to speculate because I don't know the figures, but we were trying to think about what the pay dynamics are between different sports at Fordham.
Right. I mean, I would assume that
I have to assume basketball's near the top.
Basketball is number one, right?
Football. Maybe water polo because they're just so good. You never know what those coaches
Might
are
be.
making, honestly. Because those ones, I mean, we're talking top
We're talking one of the
5
best
teams in the
water polo
country, you know?
teams yeah.
Doesn't generate
I
a
don't
lot of
know. Yeah,
revenue.
basketball is just you got nationally televised
Yeah, like,
games.
there's
I
just-
mean,
Well, and then that's what you get out of football too. I mean, yeah, football you get games that then also are filled in a giant stadium.
yeah.
So
I mean, it's true, but Fordham basketball is.
that's
you
why
know,
I think
here it's bigger than football.
Basketball
it's like,
has
it's
to
the
be
thing.
number one. Like, there's no way basketball isn't number one.
Fordham's
Basketball has to be
it's a
number one.
basketball school.
Yeah.
Through and through.
Yeah.
Joe, what are your thoughts on the 5 transfers that Fordham has retained this year? Really big. Year 2 under the Mike Magpio helm. What are your thoughts?
It's almost like logic defying because if you read up on the market of transfers this year specifically, and last year, but especially this year, big men that have proven that they can play at the high mid-major or high major level have huge price tags.
Right.
Like an A10 big man who is an established player can make over $1 million in the transfer portal. Rika Schulte would have made over $1 million. Fordham can't pay him that. I don't
Right.
know what the exact figures are.
They
for
don't have
Schulte,
that.
For
Yeah,
Whitbourne,
not
for
even close.
Bodija. Certainly don't have that kind of money to pay any one of them, let alone all of them, and they still chose to stay. So I think the biggest success of the season is not just that you got these 5 great young players, international talents, really high character guys, having worked with them, like they're genuinely really nice dudes who are so easy to root for, which means something, especially at a school like Fordham. Like, character is part of our identity, I think, and Magpio leans into that with his recruiting, and this group embodies that. It's not just the fact that you retain these guys and you set up for success because you have this great front court, and as I just said, getting front court talent is an expensive and difficult thing to do in the transfer portal era. It's that now you have this foundation that so few other A10 teams have. Now, overall, if you look at the composite metrics, there's a Twitter account called SBU Unfurled. St.
I'm not
Bonaventure
familiar
fan.
with it.
You should definitely give them a follow. They make great graphics,
I'm gonna do it
fantastic
right
coverage
now.
of the A10. He's a Bonnie's guy, but there's coverage of the entire A10, and it's a very advanced level. He has this composite graph that he made that shows how every single conference is faring in the transfer portal this year in terms of guys being retained versus leaving. Now, the overall metric for the A10 shows that they are the only mid-major school, only non-P5 school that is hanging with the P5s in terms of the amount of guys they're able to retain and the amount of talent they're able to gain in the portal. So that would tell you, okay, the A10's doing really well, but some of these teams are getting ravaged.
Yeah.
So it's
VCU,
really teams like,
for example, I mean, they've lost a lot.
VCU was able to get a lot of guys back, but VCU guys leave. SLU's got to replace Avila. George Mason was purged pretty bad. Davidson as well, probably more than any other team. LaSalle, of course, had a lot of guys transfer. Loyola Chicago is going to be a brand new team. The only reason why the A10's up there is because Fordham did really well with retention, SLU did really well with retention, and a couple other teams were able to bring enough guys back. Like Rhode Island was able to bring a lot of their main guys back. But the reality is, like, a lot of these teams are going to look completely different. And in today's day and age, at least in my opinion, having the same core back for a second straight year, it's a rarity and it's a strength.
How do you guys feel about the way that the transfer portal is today across all college sports, kind of?
That's a big conversation.
It's a tough thing. I mean, as an athlete myself, obviously with the swim team, it's a little bit different. But I think any opportunity for a college student to make money for himself is important.
I agree.
And I think that, whatever people may say, it might get things a little bit more complicated. in terms of where players' loyalty lies. It makes people very expendable. It makes people very. I mean, it makes it so easy to just follow money instead of buying into a program, buying into values, buying into education. All that stuff pretty much, for the most part, not goes entirely out the window. But when you throw in money, when you throw these big figures to young kids like this, that the values, buying into a program, buying into coaching staff, like that kind of goes out the window. But it also makes for tremendous athletes to earn their own compensation. And I think with the NIL, the transfer portal, I think it's good. I think obviously it's going to make for a little bit of a instability when it comes to programs, and obviously you're going to have, in some cases, brand new teams like you guys were talking about. In some cases, when the program outshines the money, some players will stay. But in short, complicated, but necessary.
How do you guys feel then, or at least David, how do you feel about like the idea of, say, trying to restrict it more and say only allow one transfer per 5-year eligibility and kind of try and change how transfers work and how many transfers these people get
here,
to
I'll
do?
go and I feel like obviously there has to be like some like ground rules put in place for it. It can't just be like an open market of sorts. But my short answer is that I think the transfer portal is great for people, because you got to think about so many college athletes, right, who have dedicated their lives to the sport they're playing. When they graduate, in May, June, or whatever it may be, I mean, the vast majority of them are not doing anything with it outside of college, and then they're just expected to be put into the workforce and do a different job. And because they put so much time into the job, I think it's great that you have players who can, make X number hundreds of thousands of dollars, X number $1 million, and obviously it varies with the sport. But like, I remember Magoon Guath, who's a player for San Diego State last year. His parents are both Uber drivers who don't make a lot of money, and the fact that he was offered $1 million to play for San Diego State, like that's life-changing money for his family.
It's amazing.
Like, I mean, I think you got to be thrilled for the players, and obviously you're not playing at an NBA level, but you are playing on a level, and depending on the sport, of course, on national television under the eyes of tens, hundreds of thousands of fans who are scrutinizing your every move. That giving them money absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess for me, my perspective is, every individual should have complete control over, because the bottom line, it's their education. Yeah. Every person should have the right, just as it would be if it was a student who was not an athlete. Hey, if I want to get out, if I want to transfer somewhere, I'm going to go. Yeah. I'm going to follow it. And if that sometimes means money, what's the difference between a school that would offer you a scholarship or financial aid or this and that? So, I mean, I think it's tough because sometimes it breaks a little bit of maybe the integrity, like I said before, of a program, or it changes the landscape of, the old school, like, picking a school, intending to stay there for 4 years, buying into the values, buying into the education. That part, obviously, it's, obviously that part of it's maybe going out the window a little bit, like I said. But I think everyone at heart should have control over where they go, no matter what, about have control of their own education, the way they make their money. So I don't think there should be any restrictions of like, oh, if you pick a school like and they're offering you X amount of money, you can't leave until 2 years because it's not fair because you can go to a different school every year. Hey, listen, if that's what you want to do with your education, you go for it. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents.
To an extent, I agree with that. Like, let them make their money, let them do what they want. And to an extent, I feel like the guys that maybe you do see stay at a single program for all 4 years and, like, say, work under the same coach or something, maybe you sit there and you say maybe there's a different character behind that person. They have different values in terms of the stuff. But at the end of the day, then that's their decision to stay somewhere for 4 years. Yeah. And they chose, let me stay here and maybe not take a higher money offer somewhere else. And I feel like then it's the two sides of the coin of, like, let people get their money, but then also the respect of, like, okay, you committed to a program. I think that both sides are good for athletes, and being able to have that decision is good for the athletes rather than, like you said, restricting them and basically telling, like, if I were to transfer somewhere, I could transfer from my freshman into my sophomore year, and then my sophomore into my junior. I could transfer all I want. I could transfer twice in a year if I transfer into the fall semester and then transfer for the spring semester. So just because these guys are athletes and maybe have different reasons, like you said, like, we probably shouldn't restrict them for that.
Because at the end of the day, they're making a decision to buy into a program, to play for their values, to play for whatever money they're receiving. It's their choice. Not doing anything illegal.
And I also think that, like, as a college athlete, like, just even outside of the money, you're like, there's a lot of sacrifice that comes with playing an athlete. Like, you're giving up Friday nights when you could be hanging out with your friends to go to sleep early because you got a game at 9 o'clock the next day, or you're missing classes during the week because you have to travel places. And I do think that, like, part of the, you're making a lot of sacrifices, time with your friends, time with your family, time where you could be pursuing your education, to pursue your sport. And so to make a chunk of money to put you, like, ahead of the 8 ball when you graduate and are expected to start earning money is super beneficial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But, to get back to what Joe was saying about the retention rate, I think it speaks volumes about what Mike Magpio, the culture he's instituted just here in year one, at the helm as the head coach of Florida men's basketball. When I came here, I was a little bit surprised that there weren't more, like, star-level players playing at Fordham, because it is the only Division I, like, school in New York City, like, in the heart of New York City, that, like, people can play at, really. I mean, there are, like, other Division I schools, but, like,
it's the closest to the mecca of the world.
Yeah,
Almost. It's like the heart of the U.S.
I'm talking about, like, the A-10. Like, the A-10 is a good basketball conference. Like, it's, in my opinion, like the Mountain West of the East Coast, kind of, in the sense that you're not a Power 5 school, but you're sending 2, 3, 4 teams, depending on how you do, to the NCAA tournament each year. And it's good to see that all of this has kind of come back. The culture that Fordham's had, Magpio, New York City, the success they had last year, starting 1-6 and coming all the way back to get a first-round bye, is resulting in so many players staying at Fordham. And, you really hope it continues. All right, before we come back, we have an IndyCar check-in with our very own Bobby C. Stay tuned. You're listening to One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show.
Bobby C. here for IndyCar Weekly on WFUV 90.7 FM. The momentum is real for the NTT IndyCar Series, and it's building very fast. The IndyCar Series on Fox is riding a surge right now, and the numbers back it up. The Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach drew over 1.2 million viewers, up 130% from last year. That's the most watched Long Beach race since reunification back in 2008. So yes, the spotlight is brighter than it has been in years. And now, all eyes turn to Indianapolis. As teams roll into the Indy 500 Open test next week, there's one name I'm watching more closely than anyone else: Joseph Newgarden. Last year, everything that could go wrong for Newgarden did. A qualifying penalty dropped him to 32nd on the grid, but by lap 78, he had charged all the way up into the top 10. He was running 6th late before mechanical trouble ended his day. No trophy, no history, no three-peat at the Indy 500. But here's the thing. This test, it's not about results. It's about statements. And don't be surprised if Newgarden throws down a headline lap just to remind the field exactly who they're dealing with heading into the month of May. Meanwhile, the man that everyone is chasing right now is Alex Palou. Fresh off his 22nd career win and first at Long Beach, Palou sits atop the power rankings and continues a stretch of dominance that's starting to define this era of IndyCar racing. But folks, it's not a one-man show. Right behind him, Kyle Kirkwood, who may have lost the points lead, but hasn't lost an ounce of speed. And keep an eye on names like David Malukas, Pato O'Ward, and the ever-dangerous Scott Dixon. A mix of rising stars and seasoned champions, all within striking distance. So, here are the storylines as we head to Indianapolis. It's Palou versus the field. It's Newgarden on a mission. And it's a deep, hungry grid ready to turn the month of May into must-watch racing. The test starts Tuesday. The countdown to the Indianapolis 500 is officially on.
Hour 3 of New York's longest running sports call-in show. Final half hour or so of the show today. We're going to end it with something fun. Our video producer, Sam Giangrande, has a game. Hi, my name is. Sam, you explained the rules to us a little bit before the show. If you want to give a quick rundown for our listeners on how the game works and what's going to happen, that'd be great.
Yeah, so the game is called Hi, My Name Is. This is the second edition of it on one-on-one, and basically how it works is it is trivia, but it's player trivia. It's not about teams or questions based around sports, like as in other things. It's just players. So I have 5 players here for you guys, and 5 questions per player. If you get the first question right, that's 5 points, and then keep going down to 1 point. 5's the hardest, 1's the easiest. So I hope you guys studied. I mean, the most important part, it's why it's called Hi, My Name Is because you must respond with Hi, my name is blank.
All right. Are you keeping track of the points?
I will keep track.
Okay.
I'll have it ready for
all right.
you guys.
We're going to close all of our computers
Yes,
so that we
no
can make sure no external help.
No external help. This is purely
off the
you
dome.
know it or you don't, off the dome.
Okay.
Right,
Whenever
so
you're ready.
First player. Oh, and by the way, our leading score right now is Brendan with 20 points, so that's the score to beat.
Okay.
First player. When I moved to a new team, a player from another sport moved to the same team, to a team in the same city, but 2 different teams. I sent him my jersey as a peace offering, but he sent it back signed, assuming I was a fan.
Ooh, interesting.
If you need to hear the question, I can.
Yeah.
Repeat it.
All right.
Let's hear it again.
One more time.
Let's hear it again.
When I moved to a new team, a player from another sport moved to a team in the same city. I sent him my jersey as a peace offering, but he sent it back signed, assuming I was a fan. Who is this? For 5 points.
I got nothing.
Who would do something like that?
Yeah.
Who would get a jersey and just completely
what city
disregard?
it would be.
I'm thinking like L.A.
Yeah, let's think of big cities. Got the best odds, right? We're going against each other.
I'm gonna go for
actually.
something.
Maybe we
I'm gonna
should-
go for something that's so obvious. I mean, hi, my name is LeBron James.
5 points off the bat. So I'll explain the story.
The answer's LeBron?
I knew this was something LeBron would do. That's the most LeBron thing of all time.
It is LeBron. So I had this.
Who's the other player he sent it to?
Zlatan Ibrahimovic for Major League Soccer.
Oh, my
So when he moved to
goodness.
LA Galaxy, it was 2 months before LeBron announced he was going to the Lakers. And Zlatan, if you know who he is, he's a very egocentric person. And on Twitter, he's like, the Kings come to LA, and people know LeBron's called the King. So when he went to LA, Zlatan then said on Twitter, the gods going to LA. And there was a bit of Twitter beef, and then
controversy
LeBron
there?
a little, and then LeBron sent his jersey to Zlatan, be like, "Oh, here you go, like you can have my jersey," and then Zlatan sent it back signed.
Oh man!
So
Wow.
I did LeBron last week, but Max, I know you're a huge LeBron fan, so I wanted.
I
to
did not know that story. I
wanted
mean,
to
I think
redo
I might
this
have known it at
one.
one point in
I
time.
knew. I
but
was like,
just
that
didn't
is the
remember.
most LeBron James
It is,
like
it is.
thing of all time.
Bad. All right,
So that's
5 points.
5
All right,
points.
let's go.
Off the
Let's
bat.
go.
I'm gonna just quickly say all the other questions since I think it's interesting. So the next one was, I was 17 years old when I was on the cover of Sports
Oh,
Illustrated.
I would have.
magazine.
I would have got it. I would have got
that
it right
was
there.
4. 3, I'm an offensive player, but arguably my most iconic moments at defensive play.
I would have got that.
Yeah, I have 2 different iconic jersey numbers. I play alongside my son on that.
So if we get stuck on 5, if that's the
You can
hardest, you're
skip.
just gonna go
Go
down.
4.
Yeah.
You go to 4.
To 4 and then
Okay.
3, 2, and
Man,
1.
I gotta lock in. I'm already
All
down
right,
5.
hey,
we're already down.
That was like okay.
Yikes.
That will never happen ever again.
That was
These
what
five,
a, what
the
a pull.
fivers are hard, but we'll go to the next player.
I'm not giving you guys any help anymore.
No.
It's ruthless. You
All
guys,
right.
you gotta do
Yeah.
it for the-
All right, shoot.
Friendship's over.
Next one. Sam Giangrande attended my second to last home game. If you heard any of my lore throughout the station, you know who I'm talking about.
Second to last home game. So this is an athlete who's now retired.
Yes.
Do I have unlimited guesses?
I would prefer one guess per
Question.
So
All
you
right.
get 1 for 5, 1
Second
for
to
4.
last home game. Wait, who is the
Hi,
person?
my name is Lionel Messi.
No, he's not retired.
No.
He still plays.
I didn't even
second
know
to
that.
last
There's my soccer knowledge
home
right
game.
there.
Second to last home game.
Right out there.
So you were at the second to last home game
For
of
this
this
player.
person.
Of this person.
Yes.
I'll get the 4 question.
Second to last home game.
Dang it.
It's got to be soccer, right?
That's what I'm thinking. Right?
Man. Second to last home game.
I'm assuming. I mean, I said I wasn't gonna help, but I'm assuming New York area.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
Or Connecticut or something like that.
Who
Who
would
knows
be
if I'm a traveling man?
Second to last home game.
Oh my gosh.
Who's retired recently? Hi, my name. No, that was.
But you said this player still plays, or can you not
No,
tell us
they
that?
are. I will give you the hint that they are retired.
So wait,
They are
and it was
retired
their home game.
Yes, it was in their home stadium.
In their home
You
stadium.
can't give these guys all these extra like.
No, that
nuggets.
was all part of the original.
Okay.
But
I'll
make
who
it
could this
fair.
be?
I don't know. I'm gonna go. Hi, my name is Tom Brady.
No.
Okay.
Get it wrong.
Let's see here.
If he gets this right, it's almost game over. We
It
need
really
to get
is.
this
Imagine
wrong.
that. All right, I'm gonna.
Early
Oh,
lead.
man, all right, give
Take
me
a
like
shot.
15 seconds.
You can skip if you want. There are skips.
Hi, my name is. Man, who retired? I don't even know. Who retired from the Yankees? I don't know. Hi, my name is. Luis Suarez.
No, he still plays as well.
That
alongside
was a
Messi.
crap shot.
All right.
All right, so
four.
for
Okay,
4
next
points,
question.
I spent my entire career at one team only.
Hi, my name is Derek Jeter.
Yes,
Stop.
4 points for
Yes!
Max!
Oh yeah!
How?
That's
How
what
are
I'm
you at
talking
Derek?
about.
Let's
Wow.
go.
You were at Derek Jeter's
In-
second to last home game?
In a box. So, quick story. My dad got me. He
Thanks
got
for
tickets
adjusting
through
my
a
levels,
friend,
Joe.
Wow.
But he got us tickets to see Derek Jeter's second to last home game in a box.
Oh
I was
my
probably
God.
8 years old. So I tricked you guys because it wasn't a
Luis
soccer
Suarez?
one.
Like, what am I thinking?
It
dude?
wasn't
Come
a
on.
soccer
It
one.
was
It
like,
was-
But that's why I didn't
one
go
of the only
soccer
times
because
you
I was
always
like,
see me
Derek Jeter?
outside.
Seriously?
Outside soccer. So that's
All right.
4 points for Max. Neck and neck right now.
Neck and neck.
Because I was
But-
thinking of his 3,000th hit.
We're on the
earlier
third
today.
player.
He was on the
I like
brain.
you guys are getting hyped about this. I mean,
Yes.
it warms my
No,
soul.
this is
What were,
very.
what
I'm
were the
enjoying
other
it.
questions
I'm
for that
competitive
one?
guys.
What were the other questions for Jeter?
Oh,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Yeah,
I'll
let's
go
do
through those. So for the 3, it was though I only played for one team, I was there long enough to see them through 2 different stadiums. So old Yankees.
I would have got that. I would have got that.
I was a first round pick in the class in '92, and then I have won 5 World Series.
Yeah, I would have got that.
Jeter. Okay.
So
Okay.
we're on the
Alright,
next
alright.
player.
Okay, here we go.
I have had an adventurous career outside the sport I play, where I've hosted Jeopardy, met the Dalai Lama, and been in an active conspiracy theorist community.
Hi, my name is Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, who got
both
that?
got
first?
it.
Yeah, we-
That was insane.
That one right over my head.
Wow.
I was about to say
lost.
it for Jeopardy,
I
but
was
I wanted
lost.
to hear.
I knew it was
Yeah.
Jeopardy
So-
because
I-
Aaron
Wow.
Rodgers.
I didn't know that was that it was known he hosted. I thought it was a bit niche.
Yeah, that's when he was in like the mustard colored suit.
Yeah,
I
that was
know
when they were
that.
going between the
Classic
Alex
Rodgers.
Trebek, Ken
Should've got-
Jennings
Yeah.
era.
Yeah,
So we
so
both get 5 points.
I'll
both
give
get
full
5.
5 points. That was that.
I'm in the lead.
So you're in the lead now.
Yeah.
So it's me and you. All right.
Max at
all right.
9.
All right.
and
9-5-5.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I got a
still
lot.
in-
I
still
got
in
a
a
lot.
good
I
game.
got
So
a
I
lot.
will
Working
go
said
through
working 9
the
to
other
5.
It's time to lock.
questions.
It's time to lock.
So the
Let's hear it.
next one was I have been known to take many non-performance enhancing substances before games,
Yeah.
Ayahuasca.
but
Yeah.
somehow I was
I
still
would've
able
got
to
that.
win
Percocet.
and play at
Uh-huh.
an unusual level. I have a famous celebration that was popularized through me appearing in an insurance ad.
Which one's that? Is that one?
Yeah, it's that one.
I have stayed at one team for most of my career and won everything there,
Packers.
but unfortunately, after 18 seasons,
Mm.
I was one of the quarterbacks in the Unk Bowl. So
Okay.
I think I'm very shocked. You guys are last
Okay, we're
timers
doing
won
well.
5,
Like we're actually
yeah.
we're doing well. Okay.
So
All
this
right.
one is worth for double points.
Oh.
So we have one double, then one triple. So
All right.
Okay.
All right. All right.
you guys are shocking me, but we'll see with this one.
Okay,
Here we go,
okay.
here we go,
All right,
here we
let's
go.
hear it.
If you go into Times Square, you might see me on a billboard ad for a watch brand.
Hi, my name is Lewis Hamilton.
No.
All right, that's his guess.
Yeah,
he
so
can't
yeah,
guess
there's my
anymore.
guess.
A
Dennis
watch.
is
If you go to
freeze
Times
right
Square,
now.
I'm on a billboard for a watch brand.
I would not say the watch brand though.
All right, I think I know it.
I think I do too.
So either you guys can go first.
Want to go at the
Yeah,
same
when you
time?
got it.
Yeah, you ready?
3, 2, 1.
Hi, my name is Aaron Judge.
Volpe.
So I heard Aaron Judge. What was the other one?
Anthony Volpe.
Neither.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, just
Give
move to
us
the
that,
4.
give us
Four.
that
Four.
4.
So
So
to
for
four.
4, the sport I play is the biggest sport within the country I'm from, though it is not the national sport.
Biggest sport for the country. Hi, my name is Roger Federer.
Nope.
Oh.
Freeze.
Hi, my name is Shohei Ohtani.
That's 4.
Oh
That's 8
my
points now for
Yes.
Max. So the
Oh,
national sport.
psycho!
Times Square,
Shohei Ohtani's
really?
watch
Yeah.
brand, baby.
So
Jeez.
in Japan, the national sport is sumo wrestling.
Yeah, I knew
But
that.
their biggest sport
It's
easily is
baseball.
baseball.
Okay,
They're
okay.
obsessed with baseball. I'll add 8 points to max. So that's he could break.
You could break the record here. I'm rooting for you now.
This is triple points.
You could still win though. If you get on the
hey,
high
triple.
you could
Hey,
easily
This
still
is
win.
easily the hardest one.
15
now.
right
Oh, this is the hardest one.
I know
This is
this
the
dude is
hardest
about
one.
90 years old coming
Alright.
up here.
Okay, so for our
Yeah,
final
probably.
round, I am named after an American president.
Named after an American president.
All right, we could take a guess. We could take a guess on this one. How about ooh, I've got a guess, but I'm not gonna say it.
Hold on.
I feel like I know this. That's the thing. I feel like I know
I'm
this.
trying to like name presidents. George.
I mean, there's
Ronald,
probably a number of athletes who are named after presidents.
Donald.
Probably.
But so this was
Joe.
directly because of a president. It's not they just have the same.
Yeah,
name.
okay, I got you.
It
I
was
got
like
you.
stated it was because of this.
Like
president.
they were named after this president.
Yes.
Okay. Man.
I have a feeling I know this. I just have to think of it.
What president would it be though?
I can't say that. It would give it away.
Oh, okay. That changes my guess. Because I was gonna go with Abraham Toro, named after Abe Lincoln, but now I'm not. Now,
Probably not.
Now I'm not going with
Yeah,
that.
maybe not.
Now I'm not going with that.
Um,
Okay, here we go.
Jeez.
Let's think. Nobody's being named after Nixon,
Nope.
obviously. Nobody's being named after Bill Clinton, to bring it up.
Probably not.
Nobody's. It's got to be like an older president because.
Is it like Theodore? Are there like any
Yeah.
Theodore
from Alvin and the Chipmunks
Yeah,
is the best guess I got
probably,
right there.
Yeah.
If you guys can't think, there is to skip, but we have time to where you can think on.
Yeah,
it.
we have
no,
time.
I'm-
Let's think. Let's
I,
think. Let's think.
I feel like
Let's
I
think.
know this.
Put your
That's the
brains
thing.
together.
George. I mean George Washington. Is anyone
Yeah.
named George? But whose name's George?
There's Teddy Roosevelt.
Stop.
No, I mean I
I don't even
might
know any
have
Teddys,
it.
man.
I
I'm
might
like,
have it. I might have it. I might have it.
Teddy.
I bet
Oh,
you should
no.
know this as a Sox fan. Who's a famous Ted?
Oh.
You want to say it? We got to split the points if you get it, but you could say it.
Oh my God.
You don't know the Ted?
I
I'm
know the
talking
Ted.
about?
3, 2,
2,
1.
1.
Hi, my name is Ted Williams.
No.
Oh, I was so
That hurts.
sure that
That
was
hurts.
it.
I
That
guess
hurts.
I
got
like
it
how you
too.
guys.
I
are
got
working
overstimulated. I
together
was
on
like, I
this.
don't even know.
Yeah,
Okay.
that felt like it was the right
like,
answer.
I felt like I read this
guys were
about
insane.
somebody. I'm just gonna go with this one because I don't think it's right, but it feels right. Who is
Yeah.
Rory McIlroy?
Stop.
No.
No,
Oh.
I felt like
You didn't
his
even say
middle
hi,
name.
my name is.
True.
Oh,
You
yeah,
got
sorry.
the
I said who
points.
is. Whoops, that's Jeopardy.
Slip up
All
right
right,
there.
nobody
All
got
right,
it.
so
Okay.
next.
4.
So it's still triple points. So
Yeah.
for
Alright,
12,
12 for
we
12.
have. I was born on an island and I grew up in complete poverty.
Oh God, that's so many athletes.
Born on an
man.
island.
So it is a island, but this could mean
I
Long
might
Island or
have
an
it.
island.
I might
middle of
have it.
nowhere.
I might have it.
No way.
Stop. Oh, I think I have an idea. I think I have an idea of who it might be.
Born on an island.
I'm gonna say it, and then if he says no, I'm gonna explain my reasoning for why I think it
We have the
was.
time to
Okay.
hear it.
Yeah. Let's.
All right,
let's hear
ready?
it.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Butler.
No.
Oh,
But I do
because
wanna hear
Jimmy
the
Butler
reason.
was homeless and grew up. Also,
Based on
Jimmy
Chicago.
Carter, the president.
Yeah.
Oh, I
that was
like
my
that.
thought. Like those connected.
I like
but
that a lot.
So if he's
but
from an
no.
island and he's from
he's
and
probably
named after a
he's
president,
pro-
he's got to be in an island having to do. Maybe, is he from
maybe
Puerto
he's
Rico?
Hawaii. Maybe he's from Hawaii. It's
Oh my God, no.
Who's from
I mean,
Hawaii?
he also did say maybe Long Island. So.
Maybe Long Island.
Oh, is he from?
I'm just saying it'd be any type of
Yeah,
island.
any type of
like,
island. Yeah.
Long Island, obviously, it's an island, but it's
It is an island.
very. It's not like an island.
Yeah.
Island. You know what I mean?
But Manhattan's technically an island.
Is this
True.
island like connected to the United States?
I can't say that.
Okay.
I probably because he's named after a U.S. president.
no.
Oh, actually, he never said that. He said president.
No, he just
could
said
be
No, I
named-
did say it was after an American
Oh,
president.
American
American
president. Okay, so probably America.
Is it Rich? Is it Nixon? Richard something?
I don't know. Oh, I might have an idea of who
Grew up
someone
on an
could be.
island.
I think it's not.
Impoverished.
I'm so glad I put this last because it's
This is a good one.
I could give you a hint. You guys could take it if you want. Like,
Okay.
here's my thinking. We should
Yeah.
just work together.
Let's
on
just
this
work
one.
together
Okay,
because honestly,
sure.
yeah.
Here's
My
our good
thinking
team.
is I'm just trying to think of people who, like, were born on an island and have last name. And my first guy that comes to mind is Ronald Acuna. Ronald Reagan. Ronald Acuna was born on the Dominican Republic, which is an island. So that could theoretically work. I don't know if that's right.
I like that.
But it's an
I like
idea.
that. But would a Dominican name Ronald Reagan? I mean, I don't know.
I know.
I don't know.
I used to know all the presidents.
that's
just
my
don't
problem. My
anymore.
problem is like not the players. I don't know the U.S. presidents.
All
Man.
right,
I will
Like,
say
that's my
this,
problem here.
With the president part, you definitely know who this president is. Like all three of you know who it is.
Okay, so
it's
I'm,
not going to be some like.
I'm thinking like Thomas
James
Jefferson.
Garfield.
I'm thinking like Thomas or like the new guys. Maybe like is it like a
Yeah,
George?
No, but
no, but
I
who's
don't-
named after George Bush?
It can't be. It's got to
I
be
don't
an
think
older
so.
guy, so they have time to name him after and grow up.
Okay, so it's got to be.
I don't
Who
think
are the main guys?
There's
Washington, FDR,
Washington,
Lincoln.
I think Joe might have just got it. No, I don't know.
No way.
Did he?
Joe Henry did not get it.
I
I
didn't
stumped
get
a
it.
lot of
Damn.
people. with this
Okay.
one.
How famous? Can I ask how famous this athlete is?
I'm trying to think about it.
Yeah, you could tell us.
I would say yes. I would say you guys all do know who the athlete is.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say their exact level.
But
of
this
fame.
is a
No,
icon.
it's icon. Yes, you 100%
All right.
know this.
I don't want to move to the third question. I want to try to figure.
I want to
this
try
out.
and figure this one. We got time. We got time.
We got 11 minutes.
A president. I'm still on like. I mean,
All right, I'm just gonna list presidents and let's see if we can get them.
Here we go.
There's FDR.
Yep.
There's Truman.
Yep.
Harry Truman.
Harry
Can't think of an
Truman.
athlete.
Nobody's
named Harry.
gonna get named after Harry
Harry
Truman.
Kane, maybe. I don't know. All right. Who else? Who else do we have? God. There's Reagan. There's Nixon.
John F. Kennedy.
John F. Kennedy.
John F. Kennedy.
Both
maybe John?
George W. Bush. George H.W. Bush.
What sport are we thinking
What
of?
sport? I mean, it's got to be like maybe.
It's gotta be-
Oh.
You might have something.
Hi, my name is. Wait. I don't know. Hi, my name is Babe Ruth.
No.
George. Isn't that
George
his
Herman.
name? George Herman Roof. I thought he was.
Everybody
I mean, if anyone was going to
behind the glass is so invested in this.
I'm,
question.
Man, we're gonna get this.
I'm not guessing.
Oh, so I'm done.
gonna
Am I
wait.
done?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
we
both
can-
of you are guests.
I'm gonna skip. Let's hear the third
wait,
one.
let me throw
Is
out a
the
guess.
third one gonna give it away?
Let
do
me
you
throw
think?
out a
No.
guess.
Yeah, let him throw a
No.
guess
If
out
I
real
let him
quick.
go,
Hold on.
One
Go.
winner thinker.
Let me go. That's not it. I don't know.
I want this
My name is Tommy Fleetwood.
No. But I like all
My
these
name is-
reasonings. Like
I went to Britain. you know.
after this, Max, you really should play Connections because like the way you're like interlinking all these
I do.
players.
I play the sports connections. I don't
Connections
play the
is
regular
good.
connections.
I can tell you've always played some, but we'll
Yeah,
go to the
yeah.
next one. So
Okay,
this is
let's
for
hear it.
9
Let's do it.
points.
What do we got?
I was expelled from school at age 14, which led me to only focus on athletics.
Expelled from school at age 14. Man.
I'll
All
say
of
thi-
these things.
I will
sound
say this. This
familiar.
is another hint. I'll give it to you guys. You wouldn't think this player in their youth was expelled as a child. I will say that.
You wouldn't think this player in there.
What?
Like he wouldn't.
You wouldn't be like,
Oh,
like, yeah, he was a
goodness.
troublemaker.
Oh, okay.
He's a troublemaker. All
All
right.
of these things sound.
So it's
like
not
loosely that I
Draymond
know.
Green.
It's not Draymond Green.
because he would be expelled from school.
Was he born on an
definitely.
island?
Sounds like you know those music artists like Lady Gaga who's just like dropping out at age 15 because she wants
Yeah,
to pursue
yeah.
her music.
Yeah.
Sounds like that.
Wait. This person you said he was expelled.
Expelled.
He did
at
something
age
wrong and he was
14.
expelled from school.
Yeah.
To-
Actually,
to
I
do
can say the
sports.
story. I'm pretty sure because I was.
This
doing all
person's
this
gonna be
last
my
night.
new favorite athlete.
I'm-
after I
this
get
is gonna be-
it.
this
I'm
might
pretty
be up
sure
there.
he either said something or threw a chair at a teacher after they said something rude to this person.
Threw a chair at a teacher.
I feel like I heard this.
I feel
but
like I heard this story
But I also
somewhere.
could be thinking about.
I'm thinking
about
baseball.
the-
I'm thinking
yeah.
baseball player. That's where my head's at right now.
It's not Tom Brady because
No.
The American
There's
president.
no way he
thing.
was expelled, right?
no one names.
Also, Thomas Patrick Edward. I mean.
Also, if you're gonna be named after a
Jefferson,
president, I feel like it would definitely be like a. Wouldn't it be? Would it really
Let's-
be an old founding father? You're really
I'm
gonna
gonna
name
go
your
through
kid
like
after
the
a
top
founding
baseball players. It's not Aaron Judge. It's not Shohei. It's not Bobby Witt. It's not. Maybe it's not a baseball player.
Maybe it's a
basketball.
maybe it's a basketball.
Maybe it's a
player.
basketball player.
Football's the only other one I can think.
I mean,
of,
let's think
maybe.
about it.
It's got to be one of those three, I'm sure.
Is it? I mean, got expelled from school. I've never heard of anyone getting expelled from school though.
All right, we still
All
have like
these
8 minutes
things
left of
sound
the
like
show. so we have
loosely
What
time.
athlete was
connected.
expelled from school for throwing a chair at a teacher's head, which forced him to do sports?
The only athletes I can think of that I've heard stories of them being expelled is like the Kelseys, but that was in like kindergarten.
Travis, Jason, there's no
No
president.
Also,
president.
yeah,
So,
no president, but
Maybe they're. Hold on, Sam. Can we ask a question? Is it
Yes.
named after their first name is named after or their last name?
That's a brilliant question. It's not the first name.
Oh, it's the last name. Oh.
Max
wow.
Ryan
It's the
says you have
last name.
such a good
Wait, so
question
how? Oh,
there.
so you're not saying they're named after? You're saying their name happens to coincide with a U.S. president?
No, it
No,
was
their
still
last
named.
name is. Okay.
But this is another hint. You
Oh,
kinda
this
have
is
to
big.
think where.
All right, there's Washington.
There's Washington.
Who's a big Washington? Ty Washington? No chance.
No.
Lincoln? Who's Lincoln?
Well,
no
hold on, I
one.
will say this: it doesn't mean the president's last name is the other person's last name. It could be first name, last name of the president. I'm trying to give you just many.
Okay,
multiple
I've got a
Is
thought.
it the same name?
I have a thought.
the
I have
same
a
Wait,
thought.
I think it might be like a president's name.
No,
you don't think so?
I feel like we would have got that
Maybe.
immediately.
Maybe. It might be like a
Is
weird.
it?
I'm stumping people this one.
Is it?
Makes me
What about Justin Jefferson? That's not my answer.
Okay,
But that's
like,
a
wait a
thought.
minute, no,
that's
it
not
can't be.
It's just a thought. It could be, right? Is it possible he was raised in
Lincoln,
poverty?
Kennedy.
Was he
there's no
born on an
Kennedys.
island?
Was he born on an island?
No.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
stumping you guys.
I think-
with this one.
What time is it? How much time? We have 7 minutes
Yeah,
left.
we got
We're gonna,
7
no, we're
minutes
gonna
to
do
think.
this.
We're
We're gonna
gonna
do
get
this, and if we don't do this, my week's over.
Yeah.
It's ruined.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who else? Jefferson. There's no Reagan. There's no Obama. There's no. And we know who this president is.
Yes.
There's no
Lincoln.
Clinton.
I'll say this: he was name dropped by now.
Oh, we've
He
named dropped.
was?
Wait, we've name dropped him?
Yeah.
The president,
Okay.
The president.
The president.
Oh my
All
God.
right.
Which
George
president's named
Washington.
after?
We've said
Thomas Jefferson,
Roosevelt.
Bush.
Bush.
No way.
You guys have said a lot of.
Oh,
presidents, though.
okay. Here's my thought.
Tell me.
Could be Michael Bush.
Michael Bush.
You guys might not know who that is, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my lord, lordy,
I'm trying
lord.
to think what
Kennedy.
I
sports-
want this one.
I feel like
want
if,
this
Is there any
one.
Washington?
I mean, there's Darnell Washington. but
Darnell Washington. It's gonna be like a famous athlete, though.
Darnell Washington's not a famous athlete. He
No.
plays tight end for the Steelers.
This athlete is someone everyone, even behind the glass, knows. Like guaranteed.
Well, Joseph Henry knows everything.
He's
Joe,
more worried than
stop
we are
it.
right now.
Wait,
He's
what,
genuinely like,
Joe, what are you thinking?
Joe, get in here.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
think?
get
help
in here,
us, help
Joe.
us, Joe.
Joe, they
please.
want you inside there right now to help out.
Oh, he's coming.
He's
in.
coming in.
There
He's
it
coming in.
is.
We're getting help. We're getting help. We're getting help. Oh man.
Oh,
he,
he's not.
wait a
He's going
minute.
the other
He
way.
just went 5 rooms down.
I think he might grab a.
Oh, here he
headphones.
goes. Oh, he might get headphones.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's. All right. We have a few minutes. Let's.
There's around 4-ish
Yeah, we
minutes
got,
to get this.
yeah, we got 4 minutes.
No,
to
no,
get
we
this.
have a little. Oh, we don't.
No.
We
Just
only
to
have
close
four.
it out, yeah,
Washington,
around.
I mean, dude,
Washington.
I'm thinking like old school athletes. Michael Jordan. Is there any like Michael? No.
I know I made it when Joe Henry wants to get in on the game now.
Jefferson, Lincoln, Reagan, Bush.
Man. Bush. What's another president?
You seem like you know all the presidents.
Yeah, but I feel like those are all the ones it could be. You know what I mean?
Right. I feel like
It's
it's
a
gonna
big
be.
name
It's gonna be
press.
like a Jefferson. It's gonna be something.
Jefferson.
It's not Justin. He wasn't born on
There's
an
no
island.
way.
I mean, we might just have to throw a guess out there.
Yeah.
Though, you
yeah.
know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Man, this is gonna really bug me forever.
Yeah.
It is a tough
I'm not
one.
going to be able to sleep
Forever.
tonight because
I'm
of
not gonna be able to
those.
sleep tonight. Damn.
What?
So.
Lincoln.
I have it written.
All right, we got to get to the 2-point
Yeah.
clue.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
2 minutes.
Lincoln.
All right. Give us.
Oh,
Hi, my name is Justin Jefferson.
No.
All right, give us the 2-point clue.
I think you guys will get it on this one. So this
Okay.
is for 4 points.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
I
here we
am
go.
the all-time leading international goal scorer in the world.
All-time international goal. Ronaldo.
I don't know any
Ronald
soccer
Reagan.
It's
players.
not going to be. It's not Pulisic.
No, that's not a president.
I'm the wait. Say it again. You're the all-time international
am-
goal scorer
In the world.
in the world.
I know about 4 soccer
Um,
players ever. So
all-time international
I
goal
might
scorer.
not
I
know.
think that's Ronaldo.
Is that a president though? Oh, Ronaldo. Ronald Reagan.
Hi, my name is Cristiano Ronaldo.
It was Cristiano Ronaldo and it was Ronald Reagan. So I'll do this.
Yeah.
Because Max
What?
did kind of assist you. I'll split the points.
But no,
2
I
and
don't want
2.
that. Then I don't
Oh,
beat
you-
Brendan. I'm still 1 point behind him.
No, you would be.
Wait, so it is Cristiano
It is
Ronaldo?
Cristiano, so
Also,
I'll explain all of
why,
these.
how,
Okay,
why?
so his mom
Why?
named him. So his full name is not Cristiano Ronaldo. It's more of like his middle-ish name.
What?
It's, he has,
Bro's
it's like
name
Chris-
isn't even Cristiano
it's like
Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo Tres dos Santos, something like that.
Okay.
But Ronaldo is like specific to him, and
What?
it was named after Ronald Reagan.
What?
So
Wow.
Ronald Ronaldo. But so in
What year is this guy born?
Portuguese, when was I think 81.
Let me
If it's
see.
81, I'm like.
Well, it can't be
my
born.
state.
85. Yeah, that's right on time.
Oh.
That's right on
Yeah,
time,
that's
actually.
right in the middle of his
Yeah.
tenure, right?
But
Things were
so-
going good.
Yeah.
So I'll say this: in Portuguese, you don't say Cristiano Ronaldo; you say Cristiano Ronaldo. So Ronald, it was directly named because of Ronald Reagan. That's not something I made up.
Wow.
So there's that. The born on an island. He's born in Madeira, Portugal, which is like a very impoverished island. And then, he was expelled at the age of 14.
Wow.
I'm very glad you guys took a while to get that one.
That was a great one.
That was a great
That was a
game.
great game.
Thank you.
Round of
Very
applause
glad.
for
So
you,
we'll
Seb.
end off the final scores. Max was 17. Following up that would be
David.
9. Yeah, David with 9.
Let's go.
Dennis with 5. So, Max,
Good
you'll
game,
get on the
boys.
leaderboard.
All
So I'll
right.
do a top 3.
I'll take
So 20s with Brendan, 17 Max, David with 9.
Okay.
That's the
Wow.
final score. So this was the second edition of Hi My Name Is, and I'm glad you guys liked it.
All right.
Very cool.
Yeah, and with
Yeah, it was
that,
great.
that'll pretty much do it for us here for David Topi and Dennis Valilatos on air. Joe Henry, the producer, Sam Giangrande with the video production, and hi, my name is. I've been Max Langer. Thanks so much for listening to this edition of One on One, New York's longest running sports college show. Our sports director is Bobby Chaffardini, and One on One is a production of WFUV Sports. So long.